Hello, everybody. I well, as the video, as the title says, I am celebrating my 500th view. Wasn't expecting to get to 500 views as quickly as I have. Of course, wasn't expecting to get as many followers as I or subscribers as I have now either. I was expecting to get this bright light. I was expecting this to take this the words. Words have power when you can actually speak them properly. I was expecting to take much longer to get to 30 subscribers and much longer to get to 500 views, but it seemed people like what I have to say, so I'm just bright light again. Right now, I'm waiting for a guest to arrive. He's probably going to be painting minis. I'm going to be assembling them. This is like a demon tree. I still got to get the dead bodies hanging off of it, which I am going to be clipping right now. In fact, no, don't break. Sorry, I had another mini that was attached to the tree here. I don't know what I'm worried about it breaking for. Mohawk. Yeah, I don't know what I'm worried about my mini breaking for. It I use some modeling glue. Tamiya modeling glue. It's just it's basically a weld bond, so I don't have to worry about these breaking too much. I mean, I do have to be careful, but all right. Oh, right. Let's see here. Sorry, I have to put up the instructions for the model. I forgot to put them up before I did anything. Let's see here. So yeah, let's. So yeah, I'm going to be doing assembling. Anybody have any questions? I'll answer them. But hope everybody's having a good day so far. I mean, it's Labor Day, so I know a lot of people are having a good day. I even got some alcohol for today. Of course, I didn't do it because Labor Day. It's because I happened to go be in a store that happened to sell some twisted tea. And I figured, why not? I don't drink that much anyway, so it's not like I'm doing anything. I don't know. I just had a complete brain fart there, so thankfully I'm not an alcoholic. Oh, Das Bruce.
Hey, what's going on today?
Not much. Just assembling the last of the minis. Shadow sent me.
He's been doing a lot of stuff lately with crafting. I'm happy to go to his channel and see that there's like 40 hours uploaded within 2 days of stuff that I could possibly use for my own game.
Oh yeah.
I didn't get over to even broadcasting live today on my day off. I discovered that YouTube had a forgotten classic on my watch list, and I'm like, holy shit, I've never seen this movie before. It's got practical effects in it, so I'm going to watch it. And I watched The Gate. And we're live. We were for the last 4.5 minutes. Oh, hey guys.
Yep. Well, when I try to go stream, go live at an exact time, so I can try to be consistent with that kind of thing. / I have slight OCD, so it's like that's what I prefer to do.
Not a bad practice to have.
Oh, Little funny story. I'm assembling, in this case, a little tree. A little tree. It's a demon tree, so it's actually a giant tree.
Nice.
I could not read.
What is that from?
This is from the set that I got from the creature pack from Dungeons and Lasers.
Okay. Hey,
I still have the wyvern to assemble. Hello, nerdy. I'm just celebrating my 500th stream, so if you want on nerdy, I could put the link in the chat. No real special topics or anything like that. Just chilling with people today. But yeah, I could not read the instructions to save my life. So I know for a fact that I assembled the head to the body incorrectly. But because the way this model looks, even I cannot tell I made that mistake. It looks like it's supposed to sit like that.
Well, then I wouldn't complain.
I'm not complaining. I'm just saying it's like I assembled it wrong, but it still looks good. Of course, the only reason why I could assemble it wrong is because when I found out these were plastic, first thing I did was went out and got some Tamiya modeling glue.
That usually helps.
Oh yeah. Well,
usually.
Well, I know I've mentioned. Sure, why not? Okay. I know I've mentioned Adam Savage on more than one stream, but he talks about the fact that he hates glue. See, my thing is I've found that unless you're like doing something incredibly porous, like paper. There you go, nerdy. The link's in the chat. Super glue is a temporary solution. Hey, RPG Grandma. So when I assembled a couple of these miniatures at super glue, I just hope they hold because in this case, it's definitely a temporary solution. But so before I assembled too deeply into these, I made sure I had the modeling glue to make them permanent.
RPG Grandma, how are you doing today?
Oh, I need to remember to pay attention to this stuff.
Oh, you're fine.
Stuff better.
It's all good. It's all good.
The way I've got mine set up is that I can see like right in front of me is my light, and then off to the right hand side, my right eye's got a good LOS on the private chat and the comments.
Yeah.
Well, as the great wise one once said, there are no accidents, there are no mistakes, just happy little accidents.
I believe that great
man.
Ironically,
he's usually talking about trees.
That is kind of funny as to what Crafting Gamer's got in his hands right now.
Yeah. Ha, that's interesting.
She's opening up a brewing kit right now. RPG Grandma,
cool.
If you got a camera or a microphone, preferably both, pop in.
Oh yeah, we'd love to see a brewing kit. I actually brew. It's really interesting because I assembled the top piece that's supposed to hold the head and the body together wrong. The body here, the hanging body is supposed to hang straight down. Looks like it's swinging in the breeze now. I like that. Has a little more unintended life to it. Happy little accidents, as they say.
Right?
I miss that, man.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh, I keep thinking of that country song. I think it was done in the '80s. Who's going to fill their shoes? You know what I'm talking about?
Sounds familiar, but I don't listen to too much country.
I'm going to agree with crafting. I don't listen to country enough. I just discovered Charlie Daniels like last month. Okay, I've known of him for years because of his appearances on Fox News, but I never sat and actually actively listened to his music. And then that other guy, that new one that everybody's going gaga for, the West Virginia guy, Chris Andrews, doing Oliver Andrews or Oliver Anthony music. That fellow, like he's
Hey, Grandma.
Hey, Grandma. He's excessively talented.
Let's
Hey,
see,
Grandma. Yeah,
nice.
it's George Jones, actually.
oh, here's a good idea.
But yeah, Charlie Daniel, yeah, he's a good one.
Oh, it's a friend. Yeah,
There
nice.
we go. Yeah, and like I said, I assembled the head to the body wrong, but even up close, you literally can't tell because the way it's designed.
Yeah. There's no wrong
So
as long as it comes out looking cool.
Yeah, and it does. It looks awesome. I kind of like the way the head's kind of cocked, looking off to the side. I think it's supposed to look straight forward, but it doesn't because of that, which it gives it even more life. And like I said, that one body looks like it's swinging in the breeze, which gives it unintended movement.
Makes it look alive.
Oh, Bruce, you'll love this.
Well, sometimes you
found-
don't change
sorry.
the figures, and
Oh yeah,
it makes it look better, organic,
oh yeah.
customized.
One of the things I like to watch is people who take 40 Warhammer 40K models and kit bash them. Some of the things they come up with is really cool.
Anyway, got one of these. Got a beer kit
Nice.
too. People.
Sweet.
Yeah, I got one. I got
They're
a
looking at their
5
things.
gallon.
I have real glass ones in storage, along with some of the equipment.
Yeah. I got a 5 gallon setup and I got a 25 gallon setup. I like the 5 gallon setup better because the 25 gallon setup is a pain in the butt because you have to use a siphoner. With the 5 gallon setup, if you don't mind a little bit of sediment, you can do everything easily just by pouring. But someone suggested a cheesecloth if you have to pour. Oh, Bruce, I think you're gonna love this. I found orc models on Thingiverse with big guns, and I'm gonna be having my nephew paint them. He's like 6, so he should love them.
Dude, you're not going to go wrong with having a 6-year-old discover the joy of modeling. Okay, you're going to be blessed. I'm telling you, that kid's going to have a good future ahead of him.
Cool. Yeah,
I think
I'm
the
gonna
sooner
get
we
my.
get
I think
kids in front of this stuff, I think the better off it's going to be.
I'm gonna get my 12-year-old niece into painting as well, but she's gonna get some of the models from Cal. Actually, I think he's the only Cal. Offered me a couple of boxes for way cheaper than I'd ever get them on eBay of these creature sets, and my niece is gonna get a couple of them. And I'm a little bit afraid that one of them she's gonna want is this tree, because that means I'll have to assemble it a second time. And even though I like the way it looks with this screw up, it is a pain in the butt to assemble because it is hollow. It's kind of hard to tell on here, but literally it is hollow. So it is fiddly little bits that stick together.
The Celtic tree you got there behind you.
Oh yeah,
That we have that hung up in my nephew's room.
nice. This was gifted to me by a friend, and when I needed a
He
background
has the
for
big purple elephant one.
nice, when I needed a background for my camera, I was like, This will work. And if any, so far I haven't had any complaints like, oh, well, that's interestingly enough, I have not had a single complaint of anybody going, oh, that's cultural appropriation crap. And there are people who roam the internet for that. And so I'm surprised I haven't been hit yet because of this thing.
And that's kind of funny because today the entire internet's screaming about one man in England screaming.
Hold on a second, guys. I'm going to try to fix the weird thing going on with the microphone.
Okay. Yeah, there's so much weird shit going on.
Yeah, AZ blew up about the
Celtic
modern day and Starfield stuff.
Yeah, this is, I do believe, specifically the Irish Tree of Life. But don't quote me on that. I'm not 100% sure.
What's cultural appropriation about that?
Sounds better
already. Well, technically nothing because technically nothing since I do have Irish blood in my veins.
I'm not seeing where the screaming would start.
Oh man, people scream about everything.
Yeah, they'll find a reason to be.
Somebody did that on Facebook, except they didn't post it on my feed. They went and posted it on another person's feed who happens to know me. Because they're my daughter. That was a mistake. My daughter sent them hundreds of pictures from around the world of people who don't look like the complainer, including Europeans, all in scarves.
Yeah. That's right.
Yeah. It's like it's because they were making it a racial thing. She's like, you are ignorant. But more importantly, you're super ignorant about my family. Yeah. People say stuff to us too.
See, that's why I got this. Nobody can accuse me of cultural appropriation with this. I mean, who could have something to argue about this?
My Japanese uncle wants to get fucked by a tentacle plant monster. How dare you have that?
How dare you? Yes. You insensitive tentacle hater, you Toby, whatever. No, it's
Bruce?
like
sorry.
I was trying to explain why people at our table were as upset about the orc issue, and then all the half races being forced to choose one of the parent races for their stats instead of being a combination unique thing. And people were who are severely brainwashed to the WotC way. Most of them just, they just call you bad names. I did have a nice long conversation with one person who and of course the conversation I was explaining, first off, the orcs, they've been called everything at this point. They started out, I think, as like your horde, your Asian-based horde. We could actually point to Tolkien on that one if you know about the letter. If. Okay. Otherwise, you don't know. And that's only his version of the orcs. And then, with all the stuff about now they've been everything, literally everything. Asians, African Americans, and most recently Native Americans. And that's when our table threw up our hands. Our DMs. Part Apache. So mad.
Native Americans, if you want to look at the most racial stereotype of Native Americans, they are not industrials that love technology, basically. Orcs would thrive in the modern day. Orcs would have, I don't know about hackers, but orcs would have the ability to, at the very least, operate high technology because they love industrialism.
When you tell somebody that some North American tribes had metalworking prior to the colonization, everyone's like, no, they were just banging stones together. No, not all of them. They had copper mining going on, and it was, and the whole metallurgy process to that copper was completely unique from the European way of doing it. and that's why they have all these copper tools. It's just when the Europeans
Oh,
came
yeah.
in, everybody went, "Oh, there's a better way. Let's do that."
Yeah.
Well, here's what I throw at them. Orcs are the most common of the subhuman races. They have a reputation for being dull-witted, muscle-bound brutes with a wicked disposition. Most people regard orcs as stupid, greedy creatures that make them vulnerable to all manner of deception and trickery. Okay, if you read that and say, "Oh, they're talking about African Americans,"
I know you have to
no,
be so
Wow,
racist.
you're
no,
racist.
yeah, the problem's with
God,
you. The problem's not with the
you
person
have to
who
be
wrote
racist,
this,
right?
right?
To make that projection. And that was the other thing is when we're reading and we I've played D&D forever. My husband's played D&D forever. Our table, they're relatively new. One person I think played it when they were a teenager, and but the table is predominantly mixed Native American with European, and
Kind of like the
everybody's
rest of America.
yeah, it's like a tribal table. And so everybody's dawning, it's all dawning on everybody, regardless of what we look like. People look at everybody and go, "You're white, like whatever,
Yeah.
shut up, go away."
Oh,
Um, but uh, well, when you realize what the stereotypes are that they're projecting onto everybody, it's super insulting.
yeah.
It just is. And then on top of that, if you happen to like to play a mixed race for whatever reason, character, storyline, whatever, now they've like come in and they're like, no, your character must identify as an elf or a human or a dwarf, and and you're like, but yeah, some people do that in real life, absolutely, and they're usually the most jerky people you can imagine. They're usually horrible to other people. Um, but there's plenty
Well,
of people who accept their whole genetic background and are like, yeah,
yeah.
it's cool. I love my
Well,
family. You know?
yeah. Yeah. I have Native American blood. I'm proud of my Native American blood, but I do not claim to be a Native American by any means. I was never raised Native American. I was raised totally just straight up American. So I'm not a Native American by any means. I'm just proud of my blood.
Right. And I don't think anybody should have to feel bad about their genetic history. Nobody at our table does.
Yeah.
That's the thing. And so then to come in and tell people how they're going to role play characters and then write certain things out of the thing because somebody else came in and said it's so racist to know that we have mixed race characters and what? So stupid.
Oh,
So yeah, we have actual stuff. It's just that we loaned some of it out, and what we got either came back broken or never came back, so I have to replace the good stuff. But then I was
yeah.
given like two of these kits, so I'm figuring them out. I think I have to wash everything first.
Oh yeah. Well, brewing once you have the basics, it's pretty easy. Oh, Bruce,
Yo,
I have at some point I'm going. It can't be. I would have sent it with this box, but I don't have it ready, and I'm waiting until I get more paint colors to make it
dude,
proper.
you don't gotta send me stuff. I love you, man, but like, save some
Hey,
for
Cal.
your other fans. You're gonna have not too long from now. You are going to have a group of people that when you turn on your camera, you're going to have a handful or 10 people automatically just pop in there, and they're going to be the same 5 or 10 people that pop in. You're going to be you could be worried about the long game, like I need 10,000 subscribers, dude. Love the people that come to your show each and every time. Those are the ones that you want to like literally wrap your arms around. And those 5 or 10 guys or girls, you get an extra miniature kit, or you get an extra set of paintbrushes, or if you get whatever merch like some provider gives you, put a little bit of that aside, and whenever it comes time to do like giveaways or something, like have your giveaway, but then be like, listen, I've had this person since day one. They've been here since I was at 35 subscribers, and they're here for at least an hour and a half every time I turn on the camera. I love them. They've been here. They're a mod for me. They don't do modding work, but they could kick people out if they want to, but they just like being here. They like whatever energy I have or whatever it is. That is literally who you want to. I'll be more than happy to receive anything you're sending me, and I will. But while you're at the start of the game, go ahead, put some things aside for that day that's coming very soon, sooner than what you think.
Okay. Well, that won't be a problem.
I'll take the tree. And the Skeletor. I love Skeletor. Really, that does mean a lot to me. But like, you're gonna have people that are gonna be popping up, and like, I like this guy's content, and they're gonna say that from the get-go.
Well, this is a bit of a. I want to help you mess with your players. Here, let me see if I can find it.
Oh God.
Where are you?
Huh?
Hey, excuse
Well,
me a second. I have to stand up.
the malt,
So I'll turn off my
the
camera real
yeast
quick.
is questionable.
You're good.
Only way to find out is to probably try to make it.
Yeah.
That's probably fine. That's just the talking to the hubby off camera here.
Hey, RPG Grandpa.
There you are.
I just say we try to make it, see what happens. Yeah, but that's probably fine. 'Cause that's a
This is already a pantsless stream. Are we going deeper?
Yeah.
Hey, Cal.
We're discussing
Hey,
whether
Justin.
the kit is any good or if we have to buy replacement stuff for it.
Justin
Well, that
Thor's
yeast is probably 2018. Yeah. I don't know about the root beer. Get up there.
Try not to blind anybody when I do this. Okay. Well, first we will show the size. I am making a golem that is meant to mess with greedy players. I'm glad none of your players are here to see this. This is how big. This is a 28 millimeter. This is how big the golem is compared to them.
That's good.
Now, where it comes with the greedy players. Let's see here if I can do this without hitting the camera. Let's see. Oh, there we go. Let's see if you can see the shininess inside. Oh yeah, you could, even with the bright light, you could see all the glitters. Let's see if we can. But there we go. Now you can really see the glittery difference inside there.
I like that.
Gold on the inside. It probably won't be this one because this is going to be practice. So I want to send you one that looks a little better than the way I assembled this one. I was still learning to assemble when I assembled this one. But it's going to have other things that look like maybe rubies or other bits of gold. But it's meant to be at least a half a party kill for any greedy party.
Well, you know, one way, for truly greedy people, you know, their buddy dies, they loot the body and they leave him to rot. They don't even bury him. That never happens. That never happens, right? So they at least got to bury the person. Do something, right?
Oh yeah.
Promise, or at least promise to, you know, take care of their mom when they get back to the village or whatever. Right?
Oh yeah.
Then you let them leave. You let them leave, and then after so many turns, stuff starts happening because the haunting of the dead.
Oh, yeah.
The ghost of the dead players is going to harass them, and if they go back, the body's gone. You know, the dungeon things, their bones are, you know, they can't find them. You know, turning into a whole quest of repentance.
Yeah. And Justin, I'm a bit tired of zombies, honestly. Don't
zombify them.
If I use a zombie in some way, it's basically going to be a flesh golem because I can do all kinds of strange things with a flesh golem versus just a simple zombie because I'm bored with 90% of all zombies. Okay, Nerdy Yogurt.
Well, you gotta do something. Like I said, you know, you can make the skeletons more interesting by just saying, "Oh, this campaign they can talk."
Oh, yeah. Well, whenever I make a game, if I house, I'm too bright. Let's see if we get there. We go. If I'm in a game, I usually house rule skeletons are one of the stronger forms of undead. Usually, one of the only other things that are stronger are vampires.
Yeah, ample month. You know,
because I've always felt if you're gonna have a skeleton, if you're gonna raise a skeleton from the dead, like, oh, it only takes a little bit of magic to make a skeleton move. Like, really? You have to piece each individual bone together. Do you realize how many bones are
held together with magic? Yeah.
It should be much, much tougher than they give it credit for.
Oh, it should be. The only thing that should make the skeletons have a disadvantage is because they're magically, infused.
Magically
That's how
delicious.
they're operating. Yeah, that's how they're operating. Is that, obviously their weapons and armor is going to suck.
Yeah.
But outside of that doesn't mean that their hit points are lame. It doesn't mean they have to be like that at all. And to make matters worse, you can put in the skeletons that aren't undead raised, that they're basically been wired together and they're operating off of a completely, mechanical sort of system that, raise undead doesn't, or turn undead doesn't work on them. Because they weren't raised with, that type of magic. So,
yeah.
that's
what did you want to share, Nordy?
Okay. Now, if you're running like a game with high that mixes high tech and magic, and you don't want to do standard zombies, this beauty.
Chaos Earth Resurrection sounds like fun.
Yeah.
I don't have that one. I have a lot of books, but not that one. At least I'm pretty confident I don't have that one.
You a modern or even a fantasy? There we go.
Dead Rain. Okay.
Yeah. I intend to add it to my collection through the Palladium mystery box, so I can have it autographed.
Yeah, I tend to have like a lot of old source material that does stuff like that. Like, I have a TSR one that has flamethrowers and missiles, all that stuff for D&D. It's awesome. Dragons with jetpacks. Fear the Reaper. Yep. Well, those are cool.
These are full of non-standard zombies.
Okay. Well, I'll check them out at some point. Right now, I'm just if I use undead, it'll probably be a skeleton for the moment. But I'll admit I do like the idea of running or being in a Dead Rain campaign, even if it is a zombie, simply because I do like I have never played in one, but I've always wanted to play in a post-apocalypse that wasn't futuristic, like.
Have you seen
like most post-apocalypses are?
The defunct company Rolex? From the 80s?
Mayfair Games?
No.
Mayfair Games?
Simplest way to answer that question. I have, for the longest time, I only knew of two games, D&D and Palladium.
Well, it's D&D. It's for D&D. These were put out as D&D alternate supplements. They did a whole series. Some are better than others, of course. But they did one called The Undead. And it's a post-apocalypse situation on a continent. I do believe it's like maybe supposed to be like a continent island, maybe like Australia kind of thinking, or you could have it attached to another continent. But it's apocalyptic. It's got all kinds of craziness with the undead roaming around there, and it has little spells and stuff and descriptions and ideas. If you can find a copy, You might like it. A lot of people who know about it are like, oh yeah, that book, it's awesome.
Yeah.
Mayfair Games was putting out stuff back in '96 and '97 that I remember, and I'm going to dovetail off what Grandma said here. She's really accurate on it. A lot of people were going into Mayfair Games because at the time TSR wasn't producing anything. They'd put a lot of money forward on Planescape, and it did not pay off. I love Planescape. Don't get me wrong. You find old Planescape box sets, adventures. There's a high degree of artistic freedom in that. But because of the money expenditure they put into Planescape, it did, and its initial not like return, you had a glut in the market that was a void. There was just like a lot of stuff wasn't showing up, and so after about 3 months, everybody else kind of started pushing out stuff. Earth Dawn Second Edition started being pushed out really hard. Palladium Fantasy was being talked about, by Simbada. Everybody that had a fantasy game was like, well, if you don't have anything for AD&D coming out, there's this system here that we have. And Mayfair's like, we're going to make stuff for D&D Second Edition or AD&D Second Edition. And so they put out Zombies, the Undead, and Necromancer supplement she had there. It was post-apocalyptic with undead. They had one for fairies. They had one for dragons. They had one for...
I don't have everything.
A lot.
But I have I have the dwarf supplement. Which in a lot of cases too, when you get these things, when I've got them from, I'd be surprised. I have literally gotten brand new books that they still had the advertisements in them, little cards to buy more. They were pristine. Somebody has there's some sellers. I swear they must have found boxes of product in a storage unit somewhere. I kid you not. So I've gotten everything from definitely used to this book's brand new. I am the first one to open it. And when I've been hunting down their titles, and a lot of their books come with at least one adventure in it as well, and along with some pre-done characters, something that they used to do, which made it really easy, when PCs got killed or you're just doing a pickup game, a one-off, nobody, people are just showing up and you're like, oh, that's not a problem. I got some extra characters that'll fit in for what we're doing, for the level of the game that we're doing. If you wanted to play a higher level or lower level game than what the core group's doing. And they don't do that anymore. But it also meant that the characters pre-made were generally streamlined for that setting as well. So that worked in. Now, not all their stuff's awesome. Some of the stuff, the rule, read the module in case something's missing. I've got some of their stuff where, oops, they left some stuff out. So if I ever use that module or aspects of it, I'll have to create the missing parts. It's not that hard, but that way you're not surprised, But yeah, the dwarf one's fun. That's a whole different set of dwarf gods. I've got one with it's got like the goblins and the trolls, but it gives like whole cultural background. I think I have the one on the lizard men too. I'll have to look. But yeah, they're fun. Oh, and their myth books, they have like some myth books. They're all cultural. So if you wanted to do a more African centric kind of game, they're the folks to go to. Get the right myth book that has Africa in it. If you want to do Native America, they got Native America. They've got like all kinds of stuff, all different cultures. Now that would probably get them in trouble, but they're out of print, so yeah.
Well,
those are the best kind of books.
I know. That's why I look funny at people. Like people get mad at me when I go, well, I don't think women should be as strong as men unless they're racist Amazons.
That's what I love.
I'll never be able to bench press as much as a man who's working out the same. Not happening in the same age group. If we start on the same day, it's just, it's not, there's a difference. I'm okay with
Oh,
it.
yeah.
There is something nice about Mrs. Danny Spiegel. She looks good on Instagram, but she's not an accurate representation of the biology.
No. And I'm okay with there being differences in the biology. And you can simply make up for that some other way where you let all the chicks can only get to 17, let's say. And let's say
Well-
if 18 really was your max in strength, old school it. Okay. But they all get an automatic bonus to charisma, let's say.
Yeah.
Which is just better looking, dude.
I'm okay with physical strength, male female rolling the same die. I'm okay with that, mainly because I know that there are women out there who can bench press my body weight, and I'm not a light guy. So it's
Yeah.
like, so I know that there are women out there stronger than me. It's
Yeah,
just an accepted reality. Now, I mean, if you get the average man, against the average woman in a contest of strength, your smart money's on the guy.
Oh yeah.
But in game terms, I'm okay with being on an even keel. It's just whenever it comes to the different races, that's why I like Palladium. Your average
races
is
should
your
be
standard.
different.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's
your the average. Your human 3d6 right down the line. Now, with
Right,
orc, when it comes
they're the
to
medium.
IQ, the mentality, it's you only roll 2d6. However, with the strength, it's 4d6 plus 1. So,
I'm making
on average, orcs are going to be a little dumber than humans, but they're going to be a little bit stronger.
That makes
yeah.
sense.
I'm working on
And I'm
It's weird to have the
it makes
halflings
sense,
have 18 strength. It's just weird because when you look at what size they're supposed to be.
I don't know.
Oh,
Yeah.
Well, at least they're like the smaller
in
of the.
D&D,
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm actually working
I
on
guess
my
that
own
would be
game.
a
Bruce
gnome in,
Bruce knows this.
Palladium.
Two things I didn't touch on was different races and differences between men and women characters, because this game's meant to be more cinematic in that aspect. So a woman with the same strength as a man is not so much saying, oh, she's musculature. It's just more along the lines it's meant to be cinematic, so it doesn't really matter. I'm trying to avoid being too simulationist.
Yeah, it just depends on where you want to go, and also I watched D&D change over the years, so yeah, I know about when people get too much into the simulation, like the articles that were written in the Dragon.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, no one's going to use that rule.
Well, it's like
Glad you presented it though.
it's like that old
much.
joke. Somebody joins the Marine Corps and they're writing home to to their parents, and it's like, dear mom and pa, it's like adjusting to the Marine Corps is taking some getting used to. They wake you up every morning at 6, and I'm just not used to sleeping in that late. And then we go on a hike that's about half the distance to the mailbox, and talking about wrestling, and it's like I can beat most everybody here except for this one fella, and like they give you all the victuals you can eat, and it's like and apple pie, all this other stuff, and it's like, yeah, and even it's like even some of them who that's way too much for, they'll give it to me to eat, and goes on all this stuff, and then at the end, tell my brothers to get here because they ain't never going to get a deal like this. Your loving daughter, and
Right.
So yeah, your loving daughter, and
Yeah.
and so yeah, so it's like depends on where you grow up, the woman going to be
It totally
stronger than
does.
the guy.
Because that like totally
she's
happened
gotta
in
be.
my family. My daughter went into the Navy, but the family is a combination of Army, Marine, Air Force, Coast Guard, Navy, and their friends, of course. And so she grew up, first of all, out on a fishing boat pretty regularly with Navy SEALs. And then the civilians she were around, they were all medical stuff, so she was watching like heart surgeries and stuff. It's a little kid, right? So she goes and she moves out and she goes and lives across the country with friends. They're all in the Navy. She ends up on the Navy soccer team for the admiral before she's even in the Navy. Right. And then she actually goes into boot camp, right? She actually joins the Navy. Now, she has the advantage of everybody's hats in the military for getting through boot camp. Plus, she was in really good shape. Plus, she'd already been away from home. So everybody else is crying because they're away from home and missing mommy and daddy, and she's not missing anything. It's like summer camp for her. She's having fun. And nothing the drill sergeants are doing, or I guess they're not drill sergeants in the Navy, the chiefs are doing, is phasing her. Nothing. Like she's like in compared to everybody else, she's inhuman. They can't get her on anything. Hi Shadow. And
Hello,
then
Shadow.
on top of that, she's contacting me on the computer. I'm like, how are you contacting me? Right?
Hey,
You know,
Shadow.
because I know the military's got all this stuff. She goes, don't worry about it, Mom. Well, she had circumvented all their security because they didn't understand their own security. So she was just sending, her emails out and stuff.
Hey, Shadow, link's still in the chat if you want to add to this chaos.
And then they do have to teach her how to shoot something, right? In boot camp. She's high tech. They got her off. They're gonna have her do high techy stuff. And so they're doing the gun thing. And I forget what they had her shooting. And so she shoots it. She's like an expert marksman. She gets done. She's reloaded, and she's waiting for them to come back. And they're like, "Okay, now you reload." She goes, "I'm already ready." And they're like, "What?" And she's like, "I already reloaded it. I'm already ready. I got solid bullseyes, yeah." Well, and they go, "You got anything bigger?" And they're like, "No, you're a tech person. You're not supposed to be good with guns." And she's like, "Oh no. Man, she ended up basically doing a variety of stuff. She did a field surgery on somebody. It wasn't a record. Must promote this corpsman, but she wasn't a corpsman. She worked out with the SEALs down in San Diego, and they were complaining all the time about how where she was stationed, how the teams that were sent to them to be the bad guys, they got killed all the time, and it just wasn't realistic. And she said, "Well, you can let me put a team together." And they're like, "What do you know about that?" She goes, "Can't be worse than what they're already sending you." And they go, "Okay." So she did. It was an all-female team. They wiped out the Navy SEAL team because she picked her people carefully. And then from there on, she was putting the different teams together for them to go fight. Because the teams are playing the insurgents. and So she did like security stuff. She did all kinds of stuff that was not just techie. But man, when they were trying to get her, like even when they did like they put her by like they did the gas mask thing and they did the tear gas and the pepper spray and all that stuff. So they did a tear gas thing. They put her right behind the pellets. This was going to get her. Didn't phase her. Then they're pepper spraying her, and she's fine, And she in fact went and bought bulk milk and had brought it, from the little place you go get your snacks and stuff at the base.
Commissary.
Yeah, the commissary for the boot camp, and for the whole barracks. And they're like, "Why did you buy all this milk?" And you'll understand after the pepper spray.
Yeah.
She's grown up in this house. that means you're exposed to Caspian all the time in this household. So you know.
Yeah.
And there's bound to have been
That's right.
one burning issue with Caspian in your childhood.
Well, that's literally like my childhood. I was at one point struck by
That's
lightning.
what,
I literally was.
one of my favorite
Oh, wow.
classic movies is Sergeant York.
Ooh. So you got struck by lightning, Crafter, Shadow. What happened to you?
Same thing, lightning.
Hello?
Yeah, I survived. Thankfully, the doctor believes that I because I was soaking wet, lightning mostly passed over me, but still, it's like my body felt it to the point that years later, a kid brought a taser to school. He was the son of a cop. I was in the alternative high school, so that says something about what kind of attitude this kid had. But he brought his dad's taser to school, was betting kids that they couldn't take being tased.
Oh, yeah, that's total teenage thing to do.
Yeah, I got tased and I took it. $150
You're not human. Yeah, they couldn't get her.
I presume it wasn't that high, even though I presume that even though I took it then, if you were to hit me with a high enough voltage, it would still take me out.
Oh yeah, yeah. And it depends on if you're if it went through your clothing right, or both things.
Well, he didn't have the prongs. He didn't have the prongs left.
That makes a difference.
Things off that you can just
prongs will leave a scar. Yeah.
Scar, but I did have 2 deep bruises for a while.
Yeah, you will have that. Mine literally burned like a half a centimeter hole right through my skin.
Oh.
And
then when I got hit, it wasn't that high voltage then.
Yeah, all I did was just kept pouring peroxide on it, and I'm told after the fact that was probably not a good idea.
Walk it off.
I was going to the doctor for just a little old freaking bolt of lightning. Come on.
Yeah, it's nothing. Just a little flesh wound.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they did. Then they started researching her, and then they'd find out stuff, about the family. So they'd come back and go, so your dad was a Navy Fleet Marine Corpsman. Yeah. A little bit later, whatever else they pulled at boot camp didn't work. Your grandfather was a Marine. Yeah. And they kept doing stuff, and finally they were so mad. They go, next we're gonna find out there's officers. She goes, well, actually there are officers in the family. There's an admiral, right? And she goes, yeah, but that was a long time ago for another country. But technically, yes.
Technically, yes.
Yeah, she was tough, man, because they didn't process the paperwork right. When she was pregnant, all the other pregos people were already on leave and all this, and she was like totally showing and like 7 months pregnant, and she was out doing all the stuff everybody else who wasn't pregnant was doing. And I think at 8 months, the command figured it out, and they're like, why haven't you dropped? And she goes, the children in our family are born with a knife between their teeth. The child's fine. Yeah, she's a tough one. She's out now. Last time I heard they think she was working on her microbiology degree.
I don't know who she's married to, but all I have to say to him is she's a keeper.
Yeah, she's married. Her husband's in the Navy. He is. Oh, what does he actually trains mechanics for the Navy for their airplanes.
Hey, Shadow, I got the tree kind of assembled.
I would say anybody who can aim.
Sorry, what was that, TCG?
Oh, I got the tree kind of assembled. I say kind of because I can tell from the grooves on the plate here, the top plate. I did not get the head lined up with the body at all, so it looks good, but I know for a fact I assembled it wrong.
Oh, guys, I gotta pop out. I gotta go get the teenagers from work.
Oh, okay. Well, you have
Good seeing you, Grandma.
I didn't even realize Nerdy Ogre left us.
Well,
Bye.
he just did. I think he's having technical issues.
Yeah, those Archon minis, some of the more complicated ones,
Okay, that is just
you
kind of
really
annoying.
gotta look around for the right indentations and, holes
Yeah.
and everything and pegs. But
Well, I
if you
don't-
get them together right, damn, they're
Yeah.
sweet.
Well, even though I didn't get it together right, it doesn't look wrong at all. I mean, I am looking at it and I know I did it wrong, and I am hard pressed to say, oh, well, that obviously doesn't go that way. No, it's like it looks like it was actually meant to go this way.
Well, you got the face
So I
coming
lucked out.
like you got the face right where you can see it in the cavity.
Yeah.
Okay, that's really
I
the
was able to
important
assemble.
thing.
I assembled everything but the body to the head, or the head to the body, I should say, properly.
It is a nice mini. It really is.
Oh
Welcome
yeah.
back, nerdy.
Howdy, howdy. I'm going to hope this does the trick.
Yeah.
It's the internet, man. No big deal. You can always come back.
Yeah.
That's part of the reason why I use a physical one, is because technology and I never did get along.
Yeah, I empathize. Oh, but yeah, I was trying to say one of my favorite classic movies is Sergeant York. I don't know if any of y'all ever
I
seen
remember
it, heard of it.
Heard of it,
based
I
on-
haven't seen it.
Yeah,
Same
it's
here.
a good one, and I'd recommend it. But yeah, it's about this fella from East Tennessee, and he gets drafted into into the army during World War II, and he tries to get out of it, as a conscientious objector, but it's like they said, nope, you're in. And so he's registered as a conscientious objector, and they give him all sorts of hard time, and they hand him his rifle, and he's looking at it, and he's like, "What's the matter? You got some sort of conscientious objection to the rifle?" He goes, "Well, no, sir. I just ain't never seen one this fancy before." And then they get him out on, the shooting range, and yeah, he takes his shot, and he's like, "Oh," oh, well, yeah, pulls a mite to the right. It's like, I don't see how I got so far off. He's like, well, here's a chance to do better. And he hands him 5 bullets, and he loads it and everything. Takes his aim, fires a shot, fires his next shot. And they all come back, and it's a complete miss. And it's like, oh, you've shot before. And he's like, oh, really? Are you sure? I don't see how I could miss something that big. Mind you, this guy, he's been shooting bullseye and turkey heads. And come to find out that like, here was his first shot, here was his second shot. They just overlooked it.
Yeah.
So yeah, and it's a great movie. Just about a East Tennessee boy who could carry a rifle before he could talk, and he ends up in the army, and he just becomes well decorated. He captures a whole bunch of German soldiers. By himself. Basically, he has them in a trench line. He takes aim at one and fires it off, and he's dropping them. He's dropping them right down the line, but he's dropping the ones in the back, so the ones in the front can't see. As opposed to starting in the front, and it's like everybody, telling everybody, it's like, oh, we got somebody behind us, and then he's just putting all of his East Tennessee country boy tricks to use during the war. It's a good one.
Oh yeah.
Well, I hope all you enthusiasts are well supplied with your freedom seeds, because they're going to be real short supply in a couple of months.
What's going to be in short supply?
Ammunition. Because of the way they're
I gotta see if I can
manufacturing,
get some shotguns. Shells here soon.
everything's going to the military, and everything from the military is going overseas. So only about 5% of the usual production is going to be available.
Which is going to drive up prices.
Yep.
Hello, Mage's Musings. I don't know if you've ever been on my channel before. I hate it when I drop this.
How's it going, Sean?
Anyway,
Really, Cat?
Cal, the reason why I was saying I don't know if you're here is because I actually intend to paint a couple of those miniatures with my niece. And I don't know. Well, I found some orcs that'll do with my that'll work with my nephew better because he loves guns, and they're orcs with guns.
That's fun.
So he'll probably not be painting any of the miniatures, but any of the assemble miniatures. But he'll definitely enjoy painting that. And I was going to order some Reaper miniature paints for to add to my collection, but it ended up being more of the Army paint.
Well, you know what? Let me give you guys a really good tip.
Yeah.
Reaper makes these sets. They come in it looks like a gun case actually. They're anywhere from 10 to 30 bottles of paint. Go on eBay and look for those paint sets. And I kid you not, the last one I got, it was like I think 18 bottles or something like that. Yeah, just like that, Bruce, just like that. I got it for $23 with shipping. It was about $40 for close to 20 bottles of paint. And
Nice.
if you do the math, it's pretty good. And you get a nice case that will hold more than that in the way of bottles, whether they be Reaper, Vallejo, or Army Painter. And you can, make yourself a nice traveling case. So say you're going somewhere, you're going to be bored, throw a couple of minis, a couple of brushes, the paints you need.
Oh yeah.
Snap it shut and you're good to go. I don't know if I have that one. Bruce, what'd that run you?
$50 at the store.
Okay.
$50. So
I want to get the
It's
skin set.
it's like
they
close
have
to
in the
18
store.
bottles or something like that. 15 bottles.
Yeah, something like that.
The reason why I ordered more the Army Painter speed paints because it dries fast, and if I'm going to paint with my niece and nephews, I need fast drying paint. Otherwise, they'll lose interest.
Yeah, and they get the two effects. The base coat and kind of a wash at the same time, contrast paint, whatever you want to call it.
Oh yeah.
I'm just holding off a couple more days or a week to buy the complete set of the Speed Paint 2.0 because I just want them all. I don't want to have to buy one set, then buy another set, and have 2 bottles of this and 2 bottles of that, which I'll probably end up using anyways. But I want to just have the whole line ready to go and start phasing out my other stuff using Army Painter for the dry brushing, Vallejo for the edge highlighting, that sort of thing. Because the consistency of the paints, lends itself more to different techniques, I find. Unless you're okay with watering down and doing things like that. I got so much on my table and to assemble that I just want to knock stuff out with a, table ready quality, ready to go. And, if I want, I can, go back and do, more effects with edge highlighting or blending and things like that later.
Yeah,
but
I still
now
learn
just
to
want
do
to,
that properly.
with things like Shadows of Brimstone, I need to have them built and painted before I'm going to play with them. And I got so many still to do, and 2 giant Kickstarters on the way.
Oh, I kind of owe you a bit of a thank you.
Like the Vallejo paints are probably the best paints I've ever used, but I still have a lot of Reaper paints to go through. And Army Painter has put such a bad taste in my mouth with their paints. I'll use their brushes. The Army Painter brushes I'll use all day. These things, the only problem is that if you let the paint get in the ferrules like anything else, it does kind of fray them out a bit. But you have brush shaper liquid, you can always make that back. They've got a good super detailed brush from Army Painter, but I don't like the paints. I'm happy that you do. I hope the
Have you tried speed paint?
I've tried contrast paints from GW, and GW has put such a horrible taste in my mouth that I'll never use them either. Those I used to have a bunch of GW shit. My friend Greg wanted to start painting, so I gave him everything GW I had, and I gave him all the Army Painter that he had. So I'm like, get this out of my apartment. I'm good.
If you ever get a chance.
Hello?
Oh, Shadow was saying something, so I was shutting up.
Oh, okay.
So
I was just going to say, Bruce, if you ever get a chance, I want to say the blood red that they make, and I don't actually use it for blood, but it is, if you get a chance, maybe I'll send you a bottle.
No,
the blood
don't
red.
do that. I've got a hobby store across the street.
You just grab a copy of Blood Red. If you don't like it, I'll happily take it back off your hands. It is a fun paint to work with, and I don't know about you, but I like my stuff really, really thin to start with. Army Painter stuff is like oil paint pasty most of the time, and that's why I say it's really good for dry brush work, because it's thick and it'll do that kind of work better than stuff that's really watery, really thin. Depending on what you're looking for.
Usually with Reaper, I'll put 1 to 2 drops of paint on my paint palette, and I keep this thing saturated pretty well, and it works. I'll use that paint till I can't pull any paint off the paper anymore, and I'll put another drop or two. Reaper, after I throw the paint on, I wait for a minute or two, and then I'm ready to apply more paint in that location. It could be a different color even, but the previous layer is already dried. It's acrylic paint for me is like that though. We have a weird pH in the air. I've got a fan down here by my legs if I want to have it dry faster. That's what I typically do. I don't mind the idea of speed paint or contrast paint. It just that hasn't worked for my style yet. In fact, I just now started trying to do slap chop.
Yeah, that's kind of the way I'm doing it.
Well, just so you know, Bruce, a good chunk of the Skeletor, the Skeletor is actually painted with just alcohol inks and speed paints.
Alcohol inks? Really?
Yes. Yeah, I said this a couple times. I know Shadow's heard this. When I was working at a thrift store, I ended up getting the opportunity to buy a airbrush with a crap ton of alcohol inks.
And as long as it works, I wouldn't worry about it.
Oh yeah, I love the alcohol inks. They're a little bit fiddly. You have to apply them patiently, otherwise they bench up in a spot and look like a watermark. Well, depending on what you're doing, that could look good. But as long as you're patient and you just kind of stroke them on very carefully and even out the alcohol that you got, and it'll look amazing. And it even has this consistency that if you do it right, you can get it to bunch up in areas kind of like a wash. That's kind of what I did with the face. Like it'll say it in the letter, but what I was going for when I painted it was kind of a wet from a battle in the rain with He-Man. And though I can already see where I screwed up a little bit, I didn't notice it till after I gave it its matte finish, so I was a little late to fix a few of those mistakes. But I think overall I got a nice wet look to it.
Sweet.
Nerdy, you were going to say something?
Oh, I just smart ass comment. I was going to say, with Bruce saying all these paints leaving a bad taste in his mouth, I was just going to comment that, not judging, but I don't think you're supposed to eat them.
I know. That's an old USMC thing that I have no right being into because I wasn't Devil Dog. I was just a squid.
Well, like I said, I'm not judging.
You're fine. And you guys that are using the paints that I usually don't, man, as long as your product makes you happy, as long as you get the paint where it's supposed to flow, and you're not like having to worry about changing out brushes every 6 months or more frequently, like I think you're doing it right.
I still need to learn to properly control the brushes. I can already tell I'm damaging the brushes I've got. Somebody's here. Sorry, Flay, I don't know how long you've been backstage. I'm a little distracted with Minnie, so I.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Attention. Hey, Flady, what's going on, sir?
Hey, Flady. I think this is the first time I've ever actually seen you.
That's Flady. Had him on my channel numerous times.
Yeah.
Sorry, still messing with the settings here.
You're good,
No, that's
bud.
fine.
You're good.
It's not like this is a special stream. Well, not special as you have to be.
It's your 500th live stream, isn't it?
No, my 500 views. I didn't even know there was a milestone for that. It's like Like,
Okay.
what the heck? It's an excuse to stream.
Yeah, I like what Cal does with his work.
He's really good. He's really
Cal is
good.
fucking amazing.
But Bruce, I got to correct you for what you said a moment ago. They're not devil dogs. In the Navy, we refer to them as wrinkle necks.
we just called them. We brought our dates with us. Usually that was enough to get a good fight going.
May we dance with your dates? So do we have a topic of discussion, or is this just a hangout chill stream?
Just a hangout chill stream.
Hang out, chill stream.
I'm assembling a wyvern right now. So.
That is a nice piece as well. Crafting.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how to-
Did you see the parrotin or whatever, however you pronounce it? The winged reindeer looking thing?
I even have it zenithal. It's just waiting until my next
That
batch
is just
to-
such a. Can you show everybody, go solo mode and show everybody that
Oh,
sculpt.
sure.
That sculpt is just
It's not
the story it tells just with the sculpt alone is just freaking
there we go.
astounding.
Yeah, it's not the best
Hey,
camera.
get the
but you can
profile.
see
There you go. The profile is right there.
That's pretty crazy looking.
That is awesome.
Oh yeah.
I'm telling you guys, Archon Studios, absolute favorite
is
miniature
nice.
company. And the guy he's attacking is actually, keeping the model up in the air, so to speak. And
Yeah.
the way he's, dropping his sword and everything like that, it's just, I don't know who that guy was. His name should be pretty famous from the things he sculpts or she. Just one of my favorite all-time miniatures. It's just like, wow. It tells the whole story right there. I mean, literally, it's kind of rare these days that you get the monster with a victim. You know what I mean? On the same base. You've got to do that stuff yourself. They want to make them like chess pieces where it's just the pawn or it's just the king. Well, no, you're going to get some extra stuff with this with Archon Studios. Whatever it takes to basically tell a little story, like the Wyvern he's working on. Did you do the shipwreck or the log?
I'm gonna do the shipwreck, and when
Of course.
I'm gonna now. I said I was gonna do orcs for my nephew, and my nephew's gonna love the wyvern, so he's gonna end up with one of them. I'm gonna end up with 2 wyverns total because I definitely want one on the log, but the boat I'm doing first because I love that look. But
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
But I'm gonna let my nephew choose what the third one goes on, if he wants it on a boat or on a log. But that one I'm not gonna have him paint. No offense to him, but if it's gonna be a wyvern, I'm gonna paint it for him. So
Nobody's
good as
gonna
it can.
want it on the log. Can you show them the that one as well?
Sure. I it's still on the spur, but I can show off the. Oh wait.
Okay.
Wait. Let's see here. Oh, that one's on a log. Let's see here.
Yeah, I could go get mine, but I'm lazy.
Yeah, I still got it on the spur, but it's oh, hold on a second. Let's see here. There we go. Yeah, it's the 2 halves of the boat. Well, I know how they're supposed to go. Hold on a second. I can clip them and hold them together so you can see what it's supposed to look like.
Essentially, the Wyvern is perched on a shipwreck. It's
Yeah.
And mind you, it's not a giant ship, but whether it's just a rowboat or whatever, it's just again, it's telling the story right there on the base.
Yeah, it's a
just-
pretty big boat,
Mhm.
given the size of the wyvern to the person.
Yeah,
I
I
don't even
wanted
think
to
it's
hit
a
it with some,
rowboat.
I wanted to hit it with some glow in the dark paint and some neon paint. You guys remember the old monster model kits? The creature from the Black Lagoon and
Oh,
Dracula and the werewolf. I want to give it that kind of feel to it.
Now, let's see here. Where is he? Right here. You guys can see right here. That's half a pirate. You get a good scale of how big that boat is to that pirate. That's a little more than just a live rowboat. That's like something you could actually sail a good distance in size ship. And the Wyvern is like twice this thing's size, if not bigger.
Yeah. And again, you know, the Archon models have, you know, victims or other things on the base. The Wyvern's got the pirate. The tree that he's working on has a couple of people hanging from the tree.
Oh, I just finished the tree. I'm working on the Wyvern now. I finished the tree a little bit before you showed up. Oh, that reminds me though, the pirate here is a little bit more appropriate than some like you would initially think, because as I said earlier, I'm making a game, but it's basically a nautical game with the basic theme being pirates. So this Wyvern is something I can just throw into that game anytime I want. It's got a pirate hanging off of it, and it fits in perfectly.
Have you seen the dragon turtle they're making for the new Kickstarter?
No, I haven't. I still haven't figured out Kickstarter. That's why I suggested in one of the streams with his, hey, why don't you show us how you roam, or tell us, anyway, explain to us how you roam Kickstarter. So, because I tried the roaming Kickstarter, and I just found a bunch of stuff, but most of it was STL files. I think I found like one thing that was physical.
Most of my Kickstarter stuff literally started randomly. I was on, I think, Facebook, and I saw the first Dungeons and Lasers Kickstarter ad, and I'm like, what? And so I backed it, and now I get emails from Archon Studios every time they do a Kickstarter. But you kind of got to go with brands, because like Reaper does Kickstarter, Archon Studios does Kickstarters, Simon or Come On. I just got the Iron Maiden miniatures of all the different Eddies. I can't wait to paint that, but that's going to be like a year from now. You know, just once you start looking into or backing like one or more Kickstarters, they'll start sending you stuff that's just like it, so you can pick and choose. But the Archon Studios last Kickstarter, Duselair, I think it's called, it's like 400 models for about $1 a piece. But then you get like almost another 100 models that are free from the stretch goals. And one of them is a dragon turtle that's about the size of a paper plate. Like, you know, if you go to a picnic, I mean, like this freaking big. It's just massive. And one of the other stretch goals is an airship, like kind of like almost like a blimp with a suspended, you know, ship underneath it, kind of. And it's modular, so you can actually make it as big as you want.
Nice.
If you have multiple sets, obviously. But it's also going to be a pretty massive. I mean, you guys have seen the Tarrasque that I got from the last Kickstarter.
Oh yeah,
that thing is massive. That thing is, you know, it's like the size of a gallon of milk almost.
Hey,
you know,
Grandma.
it's just beefy.
She's back.
Oh, a couple things, Shadow. One, one of them. How do you feel about doing a weird World War II project?
I'm working on one.
Okay, well, I'm asking because. Oh, what you working on? Out of curiosity.
Well, it's called Dinosaur Cult of Antarctica.
Oh yeah. I remember talking about that.
No,
I'm
Nazi.
Because...
Excuse me, Nazi Dinosaur Cults of Antarctica. We got to have the Nazi part in there,
just
so everybody knows what they're going up against.
Oh yeah. I actually have a quote-unquote challenge. It's not like you win anything, but I thought of something I wanted to do.
I'm out then.
It was inspired by World War II.
Awesome.
Which was, it started off just simply as, what would it look like if the Nazis had a Gundam in World War II? And then I thought about it. It'd be really cool if I could get a group of people together, each of them get, in this case, because I'm getting mine off eBay, just get the cheapest but still Gundam model off of eBay, and then paint that up as an individual country or faction, however you want to look at it, from World War II. I immediately would. I since this was my idea, I wanted to do Germany, so I'm doing the under suggestion of Bo Paints Minis. The Luftwaffe is the paint scheme I'm going to go for mine.
Okay,
And
right off the bat, I would look into going to Hobby Lobby, getting their app or whatever, or sign up for their mailing list, because literally every 2 weeks, all their model kits are 40% off, which will bring a $40 kit down to about 25. You're probably not going to beat that kind of a price. The problem is that the options are limited, but maybe you might want to take two to take pieces from this one, add it to that one, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And
Because kit bashing will be allowed.
Kits. And roll with it. I've got a couple Gundams on my shelf waiting to be built, but absolutely none of them. They're too. I mean, unless I make it a Japanese mech, otherwise they're gonna not look very German or American.
Oh.
They're just too. Although actually, I have one that could actually.
Well,
I
here's
think I
the.
could do that.
Well, that was number 2 thing I wanted to say. Sorry, Nerdy, but I want to say this real quick.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Which is a thank you to you, Shadow, for doing your eBay videos.
Oh,
for example,
welcome,
when you say don't be afraid to make an offer, someone put up a Gundam model for $37 on eBay. I know I got to it less than an hour after it was put up because I was checking miles about an hour before, and I offered, what the heck? I put an offer $25. Less than 2 hours later, the offer was accepted.
Nice.
And if you hadn't made that suggestion, I probably would have never thought of it. I'd have just bought it outright.
Well, because it's September, starting on the 15th, I'm going to do the opposite side of buying on eBay, which will be all my tips for selling on eBay. Because September 15th is, if you want to make money on eBay, you sell between September 15th and February 15th. After that, don't even think about selling or don't expect to sell anything because people aren't buying. And then, during the summertime, etc., the opposite 6 months is when you sell or when you buy, because it's right after Valentine's Day and everybody's broke as hell, getting ready to go into the summer going, I need to make some money. So you start buying February 15th and all through the summer. And that's when people are dumping stuff at the dumb prices, I'm going to say, because if they were smart, they would just wait 6 months. But if you're desperate and you need money and you want to sell on eBay, don't sell it during the summertime. And that's what I do. I'm about ready to, open up my shop. I mean, it's always open, but, go into the selling mode and I'm going to put crazy prices on everything. It's like, I don't care. It'll be, if it's brand new, it's going to be more than what you paid for it in the store originally because it's vintage and somebody will bite. I'm not going to make any, I'm not going to negotiate. I want my price. If I don't get it, don't care because it's not costing me a dime, just a little bit of time because I have an eBay store. So all of my seller fees don't exist until after the sale when they take their chunk.
Yeah. Hey, Bo, I just put a link in the chat if you want to come in.
Yeah, Cal, if you're selling stuff, let me know. Especially if it's already been painted. That way I can put it up there with a little plaque, painted by the one and only Cal, because I like to put stuff in, in the back of the studio. A lot of the stuff that you see has been, either given to us by friends of ours or, I'll buy it from somebody and give them, a shout out and, put it there. Or it's stuff we just made on the channel.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of sending things, thanks to unexpected bills and other things, I may not have enough money to afford the miniatures you want right off the bat unless you get to them here soon, Shadow. So you might want to make a list to the ships that interest you.
I'll just send you some money.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting you to foot the bill on that. Are you crazy? No.
Well, it's not like I was. It's not. Well, okay. I presume Connell's not in the chat. I had a kind of a stupid mouse. I kind of had a surprise for Connell. I don't have a huge need for like, I mean, I get paid every month. So, and as I was, I need to explain this to Bruce anyway, since he's like, oh, so you don't need to give me things. One of my greatest joys in life is giving people things. What I would love to do, you're muted. Okay. What I would love to do.
It truly is better to give than receive. That's all. Sorry.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
What I would love to do is actually print out enough ships to make it worth your time for you to buy, paint, and then send a Tarrasque to Connell.
I'll think about it.
Okay. Well, you got time. And
No.
And of course, like you said, you.
The problem is finding one. And by what I mean finding one is finding one on eBay that includes the Giantess and the other model I think that comes with it.
Oh
Otherwise,
no, Connell made. I discussed this with Connell. He made it click here. All he cares about is a painted Tarrasque from you, not the
What
kit.
What are we going to do with
He just
the
wants one
Tarrasque?
printed-
He's never
painted by
gonna
you.
paint it anyway.
Oh, I see how it is. Okay, I think I can work something out. Welcome to the show, Bo. How the hell are you?
Bo, how you doing?
I'm going to paint for this September challenge. I've got 2 minis substantially complete on the month, and I've got about 50 more to go.
Oh, you probably weren't here when I announced my Gundam challenge, Bo.
Dude, I've got like 3 Gundam down here in my cupboard of opportunity, but I have no time to build or paint Gundam right now.
Well, it would have been a year. When it starts, it's not starting right now. When I do start this challenge, because I got to make sure I have enough people who are going to do it, I was going to give everybody a year at least.
I know I like the cheap high grades because I can pick them up for like $20 at like Hobby Lobby or whatever.
Yeah.
I've got a master grade that I'm still working on. I'm looking at his legs right here, back here, but
Yeah.
I like to paint them. Because I like him to look dirty.
Oh yeah.
So
Well,
airbrush.
like I said, you'd be allowed to choose a. Yeah.
Put down like a brown primer, like a red lead, like a naval ship would have. Spray some gray over it, chip them up a little bit, give them a nice dirty mud wash. And then I've never based any, but I'm thinking about maybe just put them on some big 100 millimeter bases, 10 centimeter bases to use them for tabletop gaming.
I go with one of those wood plaque, bases that you can get.
Yeah, but they're not thin enough.
Oh no, I meant because specifically for the thickness to make it more of like a mini diorama.
Yeah.
So you can just leave it there. And if you want to put it on the table as a game piece, you can. But you can just go, there's my,
Well, those wooden plinths that you find at like Michael's and Hobby Lobby and even like at the dollar store are cool because they're soft wood. They're like white pine, but they stain up pretty well. They paint pretty well. But typically they're usually they're like half an inch thick.
Yeah, they are.
And
although I did find some at, believe it or not, the Dollar Tree where they're about a half a centimeter. They're about a half a centimeter thick. What?
I said the dollar store. I was agreeing with you.
Oh, okay.
I wish we had that kind of stuff at the Dollar Tree around here.
You gotta beat the bushes. A lot of the
Make
dollar
this
stores around here
muting.
are kind of like or what's that thing called? Do you have like an NPS store around you, which is kind of like a cross between an outlet store and a dollar store where they just bring in overstock items. Those things are kind of like they're kind of like a Persian bazaar. You never know what you're gonna find.
Mages, it really has nothing to do with usage. It's more of like instill terror into your party. You just put it on the table, and they're just like, oh shit, or as soon as you get it, the look in their eyes when they see it, as you're painting it and just looking at them all, sly, yeah.
Well, by
Keep it
definition,
up,
right,
guys.
a Tarrasque
Keep
is
it
an
up.
unbeatable monster, right? Absolutely unbeatable, I mean, it's a
It's
legendary
supposed to be.
creature.
It's supposed to be, but every horrible DM has a story of how it was defeated by their party. You know, just like no, it ate your party, it crapped them out, and then stomped on the crap.
No,
Well, I got
monster
an
is
answer for Mage's
unbeatable.
Musings. There's a really good campaign setting that was put out 3 years ago called Salt in Wounds. And it's a huge, like bigger than normal Tarrasque that woke up, and you have 13 javelins that have pinned it against the side of a mountain. You have an entire section of a city which was collapsed by a thrashing tail, and everybody that's in the city's been there for like a generation or two. It started to spring up, and they're milking the fluids off of this thing. They're trying to take organs out of it, and they're trying to put it on the mutagenic market and alchemist market. And so you have all these evil bastards that have come to town, and they're in charge. It's a very vile place. You don't ever drink the water there. You bring your own water. You get it blessed in blessed containers, because otherwise the corruption will seep into it and you start having some, issues yourself. But it's a hell of a campaign if you ever want to run it, and just watch your table debauch itself. It's there.
Are you running a campaign in Mexico?
Yeah,
Who's running it? The set sites or is it the
Afghanistan.
Oh,
I've got a
I
copy
said,
of the book in my library. PDF, mind you.
I just
but
said,
still.
I just said no monster is unbeatable, and I hear my wife from the other room. I cast fireball. It was funny.
Mage is like, so it's Guatemala.
Guatemala, Mexico, close enough.
See, I have great love for Central and South America. There's a lot of evil shit that if you read about the history and myths of South America, Central America, you can find plenty of negative stuff. But it's good fodder for a campaign. I'll just say that.
Well, that's true for any country.
I like the idea of mining a culture like that for and reskinning it. I'm a great fan of reskinning ideas for campaigns. I was talking to a friend of ours about that in a game, and I picked up some game books, and he says, well, the rules in that game are dumb. I said, yeah, that's true. The rules and the mechanics are dumb, but I am really good at plagiarism. We will mine that stuff all day long, reskin it, and make it my own.
Hell
That's like
yeah.
one of my favorites. I buy books I have no interest in playing just so I can
Exactly.
rip off ideas.
I've got two RPG bookshelves. One of games that I actually want to play, and one of games that I just use for inspiration. It's fine. Everybody having a great holiday, I presume.
Yeah.
I worked last night, so I had my 3 hours of sleep. I'm good to go, right? Everyone only sleeps 3 hours a day, right? That's normal.
Somebody
It
pass
can
along
be.
the sleep memo to Bo, please.
Doesn't mean it's healthy.
Healthy caffeine.
3 hours of sleep and 48-ounce energy drink. That's all you need.
That's right. 160 milligrams of caffeine introduced. Mainline it. Put that caffeine.
Ghost energy drink, baby.
Energy drink? You mean coffee?
I like.
I
the
do
ones
drink
that
coffee,
you can
too.
find that are just. This is what I want. I don't know what's hard to find. Seltzer water, just plain seltzer water with caffeine. It'd be amazing.
I don't drink seltzer water, so you lost me already.
Well, I don't drink coffee, so.
But they need me to.
I don't know how to function around. I know how to function with caffeine. I don't know how to function around people that don't know how to function without it. That's my problem. What flavor is your caffeine doing? Mine comes in coffee flavored caffeine.
Coffee flavored caffeine.
Coffee.
I mean, which for
Need to sell
a lot of
caffeinated
people, I mean,
banana
I just got no taste.
What, again, I don't care about the taste. I guess you could take caffeine pills, but where's the fun in that?
That sounds miserable.
It sounds like-
There, back at Dragon Con '93, I ate a whole box of caffeine pills because they had the One World by Night starting up at midnight. So I'm like, I'll just stay up till 6 and then take the bus home when they start the buses again. And I ate the whole box about 3 o'clock. I didn't feel good. Left the One World by Night and went to the bathroom at the Hilton. And I pooped out little yellow powder. And I'm like, that's not a good sign.
Jesus Christ.
I've never seen that come out of me before.
Story, though. Tell you what.
The closest thing I've ever had to coffee pills is eating chocolate coated coffee beans. I love those.
I used to eat those back in the day.
I just put coffee beans in my mouth and suck on them like they're chewing tobacco.
Hey, ancient cultures used to mix coffee beans, fat, and other things to that was nice for preserving such things and just gnaw on it.
Anybody hobbying today?
Yes, I am working on the last bit of the creature pack that Shadow sent me, which is the Wyvern.
Nice. How are you going to paint it? Purple? Blue?
I'm not entirely sure yet. I got a bunch of paint from Army Paints coming, and I got a bunch of alcohol inks. So I'm thinking about maybe going fancy and giving it multiple colors. Not rainbow, but multiple colors that make sense, kind of like a parrot.
Make it look like a Tumblr reject's hair?
So standard Reddit user. Okay.
Am I going to get canceled for saying that?
So what color pattern is that?
Not by me.
Fuchsia and teal.
Yeah.
Rainbow danger hair.
I
Yeah,
saw that
it's like
the
the,
internet was floating about a guy that was complaining about the pronouns in Starfield.
In
Yeah,
what?
it's like the miniature Shadow wanted me to show off earlier. I intend to paint it with green and brown for the back of the wings, but what little you can see, because I gave it a zenithal highlight so the underwings aren't that visible, I'm going to make sure it looks kind of like a sky blue color.
Uh-huh.
So to say that if from beneath, you have a very hard time seeing it. From above, you have a very hard time seeing it.
Like a Luftwaffe fighter jet, huh? Like a Messerschmitt.
Yeah. Well, my thought was this came from the same distribution.
You could paint the underside pink.
Oh yeah, but I could. But my thing is I'm thinking this came from the same creature pack as the Wyvern. That probably means it came from the same world. It's not as big or as nasty as the Wyvern, so it wants to have a camouflage effect to be not seen if the Wyvern's flying above it. And of
I
course
was
it
talking
wants to
about
come up on
the
prey.
sky blue paint effect.
Oh. I don't know. I still haven't gotten that far with painting yet. It's still just one or two layers.
I'd glaze it on with an airbrush if it was me, just because wings have such a big surface area, and then you can really build up gradients. You can use a lot of colors along the bones on the membrane.
Yeah,
or
I have an
darker
airbrush, but
bones,
last time.
You could want to build up a lot of value on those wings.
Okay, well, I might
It
try.
looks
It's
so
just the
good.
fact last time I used it, of course, I found out why. White is apparently not the best thing to put through an airbrush.
Now, unless you got really good control, yeah, they can. I've used white inks to zenithal, and if I'm not careful, it ends up speckled. And when you paint them in, he looks like he's wearing blue jeans. So
that wasn't the issue.
Speckled effect. You've got to really crank up the air pressure, and get a good distance away, so that if you're too close, it'll get speckled. That's a lesson. You just got to learn that yourself.
But yeah, that wasn't the big issue I had. The white does not like coming clean out of an airbrush.
No, you got to build it up.
White is a pain in the ass. I spent more time cleaning
I'll try other colors in it, but I gotta.
I don't generally like white. White, yellow, and orange are kind of the three banes of painting.
Airbrushes.
Well, yeah, you need to get a really what do they call it? A high pigment white.
Yeah.
The
which I
two
do
white
have some.
Proa Krill is really good. It's kind of expensive, but it comes pretty thin out of the bottle. But if you don't mind thinning it yourself, the Proa Krill
Yeah.
So Flat is a really high pigment white, but it's almost as thick as toothpaste out of the you know, you got to thin it down yourself. But I use a lot of golden So Flat white.
Let's see here. This is. Let's see if you can see the brand. Yeah, this is one of the brands of. Can't really see it, but that's one of the brands of alcohol ink I have. Like I got a whole bunch of them all at once.
Yeah, what? I don't
Ranger.
know.
I like the. Oh, you can't really see that, but this is Ranger. I actually really love these
What
ones.
brand is it?
This one's Ranger.
Ranger.
Yes. This one
Do you know a lot
is
about inks?
Marbio.
I got to ask
sorry,
a
what?
question about inks. Do you know who makes oil-based inks?
No. I got all of these from a like I was saying earlier, from a purchase at a thrift store when I was working there. An airbrush and all these alcohol inks just came in all at once.
I remember that. You said you had to clean the airbrush really well because it was all gummed up.
Yeah, thanks to the white. That's I kind of like this one, but their metallics suck because they stay tacky. You have to cover their metallics. Their paint is hard as hell. The ink is hard as hell to get off, but the metallics stay tacky forever, which is annoying as hell.
Okay.
Yeah, I
I just got
had that problem with
every paint.
sometimes
Every paint has. I'm sure Bruce will tell you that every paint has its own personality.
Mhm.
This is like called Sigwong, is what I think it's called. It's an alcohol ink I just got from my sister. She got it for a single project. It's like, oh, you use alcohol ink? Yeah, I do. She's like, oh, here, have what was left of mine. I don't need it. Like,
Now, does it dry very quickly? I presume it would.
I don't know. I haven't played with it yet.
Okay. I haven't used alcohol. I've used a lot of water-based inks. I would like to try oil-based inks just as an oil wash instead of mixing it myself with oil paint. But I got all either for super cheap or free, so I have no complaints no matter how it ends up working out. I got no complaints against it. So because I mean I could, but really for free and cheap, what right do I have to complain? I just got to figure out how to work with it is all.
Hey, I used craft paints for 20 years, and I mastered them to the point that I will still use them on, my miniatures, even though I know better.
I mean, if you've got like a big expanse of space, like 8, 10, 16 square inches, craft paints work just fine.
Yep,
they help you. They help you
terrain.
Yeah,
I won't even use my expensive paints on terrain unless it's like little knobs and dials on tech stuff or things like that. Otherwise, all my Dungeons and Lasers, it's all base coat, rattle can, and then whatever I'm going to do is going to be craft paint, and it works out just fine. The metallics for like Apple Barrel are freaking awesome.
Do you ever watch Eons of Battle? I love that Jay there always bases all of his minis, no matter what. Paint, do this really high-end paint job, and then paint the rim with Apple Barrel black. Just the coup de grace, the signature move is Apple Barrel black around the rim of around the base. I think that's just so awesome.
Thank you, Yield Geek. That actually happened like 5 days ago now, but between now and then, so many people were streaming, I didn't get an opportunity to do my own stream till now.
Yeah, DM James is streaming right now. I just got a notification. Like,
DM James?
Sorry, James. DM James, yeah.
All the time, though.
Yeah, that is true. It's hard not to stream at the same time he does.
In fact, I was actually on DM James one of the streams, Saturday, and then it's like, oh wait, no, it was Sunday, and said, nope, I gotta go to Connell's stream for the movie review. It's like, who wanted me?
And then I did a one-on-one with Omen. I told myself an hour and a half with Omen.
Right.
No, by the time I logged out, it was like 3.5 hours. I think we only did 2.5 live, and then another like hour behind the scenes, and it was amazing. He actually said he had to go first. You know, he had to leave before I did. I was like, get ready, and then he starts putting on oven mitts, and I'm like, you know, like, okay.
Well,
I guess he was cooking the whole time or something. I'm like, yeah, I
I'm
can't
gonna
eat
have to
that
bounce
late.
on. I'm gonna have to bounce on out of here, guys.
Nerd,
It's been
take care,
fun.
bud.
All right, nerd.
See y'all later.
Take care,
Have a
man.
good day.
Yeah, it was actually a shadow. I was thinking that it's almost like we need to put together something like a TV guide, you know, with all of the list channel listings, so I'll know when I can stream without stepping on anybody else's toes. You know, since we
Yeah.
pretty much have
That's
the
not a
same
bad
audio.
idea. That's not a bad idea.
Of course, we're all going to compete for the primetime slots. Like you know, I know that Max and Legion of Myth have got that prime Friday night, but I mean that's over the top of our game anyway, so I don't care about that. And then you've
Right.
got the Saturday night shadow chat, and I'm not going to stream over that either. But I mean, and I don't
It
want to
looks
be
like you're
I don't
on
want to
it.
be
We
Joe the
can't-
streamer. What's that?
Say again?
I think you're muted, Shadow.
Nope, it wasn't me.
Oh, I wondered what you were saying. I think I talked over you.
Yeah, I'm not giving up my Saturday slot, and
Oh,
you're
no.
on it.
Well, that is one of the prime. I think that's one of the prime shows of the week, in my very humble opinion. All right, I need the opinion of the group. So I'm painting this commissar, and I'm doing all the cloaks, and all my inquisitorial retinue are all maroon, and I'm doing his tunic blue, but I got to paint his pants. What color should I paint his pants?
It's not in the camera.
Ah,
paint him
well,
camera.
anyway,
Got him.
because the lighting is so terrible.
Do you have adamantine black?
Like a shiny black?
Yeah.
I don't have any. I could do black though, but if I do black, I do it maybe like a charcoal. I don't know. Like, I don't want to like clash too much against.
I hope the camera picks up the effect. Oh, come on.
Nice.
I'm trying to paint his. I'm trying to paint
It's not picking up the effect.
his waist scarf yellow, and yellow is a garbage color.
And
Sorry.
here's the other reason why I paint so much with Reaper. I don't know if the other guys paint with Reaper or not, but these guys are actually made here in Texas.
Oh,
Oh, yeah, you can kind of see that sign of
I've got a
kind of
few.
purplish.
The one,
kind
I
of
got
see
a
that
few that I
issue?
liked and a few that I didn't.
Hold on a
But
second.
again, every paint is different. Every paint is its own thing.
Like a white heart.
All right, let's first.
Where's my aluminum?
Okay, so how do I choose who gets up on top?
Man, TCG, your head is
There you
big.
go.
Bye.
All right, now you can show off your mini bow. Your mini.
Well, okay, look. And so I'm doing all of the cloaks are all maroon, right? And so
Yeah.
I've got like just for kind of just gobs and gobs, and I'm just trying to build up. And so I'm trying to find out what color I should paint his pants.
Yeah, kind of like Bruce's idea. I think
Black?
that would go nicely with what I see.
You know what? Yeah, I will. I probably do like a transparent black, just because black on like black. I mean, like black on minis to me always ends up looking like a burnt matchstick. It's like it's just there's no depth. It's just black. You've got to do something that either start light and then add value dark, or start dark and try to add value light.
All right, let's see if I can show off my mini now.
I've never had. Oh, that's a stag, dude.
Yeah, but
those
you
look
can't-
so great. I cannot.
Yeah.
Are you gonna
Can't
paint
get
it
the effect.
fantastic or realistic?
No, actually, it's the way I want it now, but I can't get it to show up on camera very well. Which is I discovered by accident working on. Bruce already talked about it. A Skeletor I'm sending him.
Skeletor?
Yes, I needed. As I was spray painting in black, I missed a few spots, and like, okay, I got black alcohol ink. I'll quickly lay that in there, and when I spray paint it with the white, it's not going to matter. It's going to disappear. It just makes sure that the areas that aren't going to disappear, that I don't want want to be white or not gray because I used a resin 3D printer.
Right.
And then a few spots that I didn't intend to got a little ink. I figured, oh, well, it's just going to get covered over. And then putting white bare paint and primer matte on it, it produces this almost glowy purple effect thanks to the ink, black ink.
Right. Because black is never really black.
Yeah. Oh, that's good.
It's always something else, dark blue, dark purple.
Yeah, and it gives this almost ghostly purple effect, which works perfectly for the setting I want to put it in, which is basically it's going to be a. I'm not going to paint the base because the base is going to end up. I'm going to put cotton or stuffing on the base to make it look like it's a cloud. Because this is going to be for a skyship campaign, and it's meant to look like a spirit stag. So it's got a kind of a whitish purple effect. So it's. Like I said, got that ghostly purple. I'll see if I can get it with my phone camera when I'm done, because I do want to paint the antlers with bone because I want them to look more physical than the body does.
Right. Right.
But yeah, and I discovered that little technique just by accident because I made a mistake on
you and your happy little accidents.
Yep. Thankfully, with Skeletor, though, I managed to paint over it, so you don't see the purple after I'm done.
I win again.
Good old Skeletor. Welcome to the show.
The villain we deserve. Yeah, I'm using the adamantium black right now in the interior of the shield of this 3D print model that I'm using. I'm really not a big fan of the 3D print models yet. Loot Studios has some nice figs, but they're not like the quality I want to see yet. They're still not at Bones white and definitely not at Bones black level.
I think that the 12K printers are going to get there if the sculpt is up to that level, and if the person printing the model has the settings dialed in on the layer height and on the print time. I've seen some that I thought were really, really nice, and also if they're washed and cured. Some people say that 3D printing is a hobby unto itself. I don't think it really is now, because it's so easy. Like the printers, they self-level. And even if they don't self-level, they're so easy to level. It's just really a matter of, personalizing the settings on the printer and getting the right resin for the printer, and you're good to go, And then you can print, using bolt action or 40K as a model in terms of point value. When you can print up, 700 or 1,000 points worth of infantry for like $50 worth of resin.
Oh yeah.
That's the future right there.
I like the idea of it.
Oh, Bruce, I put you on the main screen so you could show off the titanium black.
Yeah, this is adamantium black right here.
Adamantium black, sorry.
It's Wolverine black.
If you guys need, I know that this is a little bit too vain, but if you need the number for it, it's right there, 09124. This is a really good black if you're doing shiny black. And I like to use it for like shaded areas of shadowed steel.
And you are sponsored by Reaper, right?
Not at all. But I love Reaper. I like Reaper for a lot of reasons. I mean, one, they're just up the road, and I because of the recession that we're in, where I'm paying $800 more a month, where I would normally not have to. I would normally be going to ReaperCon at my current income, but now I have to wait till I hit like 100K before I can do that. It's ridiculous. $300.
100,000 subscribers?
No, $100,000 a year. Yeah. Well, for me to afford my bills and everything else going on.
Oh.
Yeah.
Hey, what does it cost for the tour of the Reaper Studios? The factory,
I don't think there's a cost at all for that. You show up there and have to see you.
Really? Okay, we're gonna have to put that on the agenda as part of ShadowCon. Everybody, we're just gonna pile in Bruce's vehicle and get a
Good night, RPG Grandma.
and get a shuttle bus as well, and get everybody and just freaking go over Reaper, the Reaper factory, and just freaking crash the gates and say, hey, we're here. Show us around the place.
Give me a
Yeah,
second. Put that free stuff in my hand.
And the
Yeah,
thing is,
they
if
do
you've
let
got any
you
metal
walk
that you
away.
don't like, if you have any metal that you don't like when you go to Reaper, you pretty much can change out your. They'll weigh it, and then they'll put it in a machine, and they'll give you credit for whatever you want.
Metal?
Yeah, like if you've got old Reaper figs,
Oh,
okay.
metal figs,
right.
they'll be like, "Wait, you have that? Oh, we have wares to trade."
That's interesting. That is so interesting.
Hey,
Oh,
Bruce.
No, believe it or not, metal's actually getting really expensive. I do some stuff with a couple of miniature companies, and it's like hundreds of dollars a pound, or somewhere in that ballpark area. It's crazy expensive right now.
Yeah. No, that's the future.
Hey,
That's what
Bruce.
I was saying earlier. I was like, if anything happened, and I just had to paint my pile of shame, I think I could do another 4 or 5 years worth of videos just painting my pile of shame.
I feel kind of personally attacked, Bo.
No, that's
Wow.
it's like I'm in this picture. I don't like it.
Yeah, I need to fix things. Take me back, Clarence. Take me back.
No, that's fine. I kind of, it's really easy to overbuy because I tend to buy minis for a role playing game. It's like
Have you guys
I
met
want
me?
I want 5 minis. Oh, no, pardon me. That there's 20 minis in the box, but I only want 3 of them. What do I do with the other 17?
Paint them,
Well,
box them,
hey,
file them away
Kit
for
bash
later.
them, kit
well,
bash
actually,
them.
that reminds me of something I wanted to talk to you people, pretty much everybody here.
You
Uh,
people.
you people.
It's
You
a
people.
plastic and-
Yeah,
What do you mean, you people?
What do you mean, you people?
was at least within America, because it could be stupid expensive otherwise. See about starting a trading amongst us about certain miniatures. Like for example, you got a bunch of miniatures you don't want. I personally would trade in case not just
Wait.
miniatures, but
Rewind. I'm 100% certain I don't have a single miniature I don't want. So is cash okay? Because
Now you've made eBay.
no, that's not true.
Well-
I'm going to be getting rid of some Kill Team and some War Master Games Workshop this year. So there is that. But
well, I was also
I don't
referring
think-
to all. I was also referring to like open trade, for example. Like I make leather pouches and other leather objects. I would gladly trade leather pouches for miniatures.
I'm pretty certain I wouldn't want you knowing about the leather items I would want. I'm kidding.
Well, use a leather copy.
If you can hook me up with a freaking, like a 9-foot bullwhip that's not going to fall apart,
It's expensive.
I probably,
That's a couple
I would do that.
It's expensive.
I would do that under, well, 2 conditions, because it had to be under those 2 conditions. 1, I would need the pattern because I don't have one, and 2, you don't have to, but I would suggest you purchase the best whip leather in the world, which is kangaroo hide.
That's right.
Will not destroy itself over time like a lot of leathers will.
really, I
That's
didn't know that.
100% true.
Oh, well, here's why a whip will destroy itself. You are literally breaking the sound barrier, and it destroys the tip. Kangaroo leather is so tough it can actually resist this.
That's right.
I would think
the
that 9
truth.
feet would be enough. I think 15 or
Testify.
20 foot would be what you need.
Now, my old man, rest his soul, the old man, when he was in the business of moving cows, They used to put piano wire crackers on the end of their whips because that they don't get shredded either. But that turns the whip into almost a knot. You can't actually hit the cow with that because that's like hitting the cow with a razor blade.
Ooh, okay, yeah.
But if you just crack it in the air, yeah.
Yeah, I was just guessing at the length. I'm pretty sure the one I used to have was at least, like I said, 9-10 feet long. But yeah, I'll look into it because I've been watching some people make them out of some unusual materials. I want to say like electric tape or something.
Oh, my sister made one out of. My sister made some out of some little bit of the I forgot what it is, but it's basically a type of rope. Anyway, some type of rope and duct tape, literally duct tape. It will not last very long, but it does work. It does actually crack.
No, I kind of want it to last a while, otherwise.
Yeah,
you know.
That's why I immediately went. That's why I immediately went to the extreme. What is universally considered the best whip leather.
That's what Indiana Jones's whip was made out of. The movie props, the real ones.
Yeah. Right.
Kangaroo leather.
I'm so happy I was here today to hear this because this is something I've wanted to know for a while, but never knew I needed to know this. But now I'm happy.
You joke, but my brand of autism doesn't understand sarcasm, so the joke's on you.
That's a good one.
Look, man.
Hey, Bruce, you like beef jerky?
Yeah, I mean it's beef with like longevity added to it,
and salt.
So good.
Lots of salt.
I know you like local stuff. This is like my new favorite. I don't know if you can see that. It's made in Roanoke, Texas. They have sausages, biltong, a couple other things.
What's the name of the company?
Anton's.
Anton's
Land of Biltong in Roanoke, Texas. I'm really digging it.
I found out the hard way. There are a lot of like bigger name brands beef jerky that do not last for shit once you open that package.
This one here.
Well, that's because those aren't real beef jerky.
This is it. Well, this isn't beef jerky. It's biltong. Once you open it, it even comes with instructions saying, "Look, you got like 5 days once you crack the bag, because it's basically like Angus. They have Wagyu, and it's basically like almost like the filet mignon, but cured. So almost more like an Italian meat, like supersod or whatever. I'm really a big fan of it now. They did have one I didn't like. I forget what kind it was, but they got some nice stuff if you're trying to stick with local stuff.
They got a pound of bison for $52.
That sounds good.
Yeah. All their bison is out of stock. My bad.
We've got a place up the road that sells it, and I've been meaning to stop in and grab some just to try it. What's it like?
I've never had bison jerky before. I've had bison meat a lot, and it's if you're looking to drop weight, it's easier to drop weight eating bison burgers than it is with hamburgers. I'll say that.
It's very lean.
It's like eating sirloin, but like cranked up to a 9.
I would say it's more tender and slightly a little sweet.
Now, if you can get it, and it's hard to get, but the buffalo shoulder and up high towards the hump is really, really marbled. I mean, it's like grain-fed beef, but because it's where the buffalo stores a lot of its fat. And if you can get it, if you can get that high up on the shoulder, that's a 10. But most places don't sell it because they keep it for themselves.
Well, there's a place up here that sells to Smokehouse, and they get buffalo in and they turn it into Lebanon bologna, and it'll last basically forever. as long as you keep it dry. It's absolutely delicious. They come in little chubs for like $30. I think they're like £1.50 pounds.
That's about right.
All right.
But it's dinner time, guys, so I'm going to head out.
All
I'm
right.
going to keep going too. I got to
See ya,
get some
Flighty.
food before me and Janet get on.
Yeah, it's been
Yeah.
over 2 hours, so it's probably about time to call it
That's
anyway.
And that's a good show you have with Janet.
But yeah, thanks for having me on. I'll catch up with you guys a little bit.
Take care, man.
Yeah. See ya.
Thank you, Janet.
Peace and love. Peace and
Seeing
love.
all. Thank you, Crafting, for inviting me.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, it's been fun.
Ditto. Yeah, I just saw your Discord message, Bruce, of inviting me as well. You know, like an hour after the fact. But
I tried getting you and Connell in here.
appreciate it.
Now, why would you want to go and do that?
I know, right?
Ruin a perfectly good stream with that potato eater.
Hey, I'm Irish too, man. And Russian. So like I have no choice. I have to eat potatoes. That's where I went a minute ago to go eat some potatoes. Hey, Bruce, is Jade okay? Is he gonna be doing Wednesday's show?
I don't know. I haven't heard from him yet. It's still the weekend. I imagine he's getting back today after what happened. But just, I mean, between you and me, I know his wife's parents are eager to just, whenever his wife shows weakness or does something out of like what their purview of acceptable is, they're very quick to jump on that and to hammer on it. So, I mean, Jade's been a really good influence in her life. He's been a positive piece of just reinforcement. So I'm pretty certain that after the weekend, you know, he's going to have to do a little bit of piecing together. Hopefully he'll be available Wednesday night. I don't know yet. I just know that like that's as most as I know. And I probably have exceeded the limits of what I should say, but just to give you an idea of what's going on, she's not from a supportive household. And I wish she was, but she's a darling. I've only met her once, and it's a shame because she's really a good kid. You know, I say kid, she's like 35 to 40, something like that. But he married good, and he's got a good head on his shoulders. You know, he's got his own mindset. We don't agree on everything. That just keep that in mind. But he's not a bad guy, and he's trying to do his best for her. And I really hope that, like, you know, things are gonna be okay. But the thing is that she needs to, I guess, level up a bit and realize that the people that she's trying to seek accreditation for are the people that are actually within her peer list and not from ones that traditionally you would go and seek, you know, validation from. That's just my own personal opinion. I don't know anything. I don't have any kids that live with me. So take that for what you will.
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
Well, that sounds almost like it is none of my business, but if he does need any help, I wish he'd reach out.
Yeah. I hope he does.
Because I hate, and I don't want to interject myself, and especially in family business where I'm from, we don't air our dirty laundry in public, but Discord is more private.
Yeah, and I said that live just now. My bad, but I want him to continue
Fortunately,
doing
not so
what
many
he's
people
doing for
watch
her.
us. Watch me, so I should put that.
But I want him to do as good as he can for her, and I think he's done a lot. I told him, like, no matter what, he needs to make sure that he always has dogs available, because especially if you're in sales, like, nobody wants to fucking see you. But when you come home every day, your dog's there, and it's happy as shit to see you. It fucking loves you. Everything the ground you walk on is blessed, you know, and that's why it's important for people to have dogs, because, like, otherwise you might not get what you're supposed to be getting on a daily basis. So,
right.
Dog
Isn't that right? Come here. Come here, boy.
Yeah.
You got a bug on you, you weirdo.
Yeah, just make sure you get a less weird dog than Shadow has.
Yeah, my dog's a weirdo. I would trade him.
You know what? Shadow hasn't even seen that dog work yet. Wait till Shadow walks by a grain elevator that's loaded with rats and mice and vermin.
Oh no, I have. If there's a rat within 100 yards of the property, this little guy goes freaking nuts and will not stop until he catches whatever it is. Right now, he's got an arch enemy of a squirrel that lives in a tree right here, and he jumped a damn near almost a 6-foot brick wall to get up on it to try to get this sucker. And on the other side of that brick wall is an embankment that angles down right onto the sidewalk, and then 4 feet past that is the 4-lane drag strip behind my house. So I got to get the squirrel before he does.
Good dog. I gotta go, guys. I'll see you soon.
See ya. Hey, is that Jackie?
Yeah, it's Jackie letting me know that dinner is on the table, and if I don't hurry up, there will be no fries. So I will see you gentlemen later. Have a great evening. Little guy and I are going to do an announcement video of what we're doing this month and a little unboxing. So we'll see you guys later.
Okay, well, let Jackie know
He already
I
left
want to talk to him.
Oh, okay, I will.
All right, have a good night, Shadow.
Take care, guys.
See ya.
Bye.
So how about you, Bo? You need to call it a night?
Well, my wife is taking a nap on the couch. I told her to give her an hour. And the thing about these streams is it's actually good motivation for me to actually get painting done. When I'm here by myself, I feel like I'm like on my phone watching a video, or I get bored, or I feel like I don't want to paint. And I really do like to. I mean, the thing is, I like to paint, but the more I paint, and then the more I watch these videos on painting, the more I realize how terrible I am at painting. But then the only way to get better at painting is to actually paint.
Oh,
so
yeah.
You get caught in this negative feedback loop where, I don't really want to paint, but I have to paint so I can get better at painting.
Well, I found that watching painting videos doesn't make me feel like, oh, I'm not that good a painter. It makes me feel like, it makes me want to do it, because I'm one of those people, when I watch something, it makes me want to do it. And then it also is, I watch them specifically for their techniques. It's like, well, maybe I should try that.
I mean, some there, I want to watch the sweet spot. There's some guys that are just so good. Like if I watch like a Sam Lenz or one of those guys, Travarian, I watch one of those guys, and I just feel really discouraged. But if I watch guys that are still like head and shoulders above me, but they feel like they're more relatable, like like Jay Eddie Ends of Battle, or Casey at Miniature Rescues.
Oh,
if I
exactly.
watch one, and Casey is so wholesome, and he never gets his partner, the guy back east, and whatever his name, I can't remember his name. He gets like political in his videos, and I hate that. But Casey never. I don't even know what kind of politics he has. That's what Yeah. He just wants to. Look, I found this mini on eBay. It cost me $20. Let's see what I can do with it.
Oh yeah, I know. I love watching him. I've actually learned quite a bit from him.
Yeah, and he's
it's
so encouraging.
Yeah, he was the first one. I was actually before you said, hey, washes aren't that hard. Just go ahead and try it. I was already thinking about different washes I could try. It's just I'm almost a assembly line type person when it comes to learning things. It's like I like learning it one step, learning what I need to learn for getting that one step as best as I can, and then moving on to the next step, which is washes.
Right.
But I'm going to kind of bounce out of that a little bit, because next month is October, and I'm not a Warhammer player. I want to be, but I don't have anybody to play with.
October.
Yes, I'm doing Orktober.
Nice.
And I have already purchased an orc that I'm going to assemble this month, so I could stare at him and figure out how I want to paint him. And I'm going to do some of the other techniques for making things dirty that I've been not avoiding, just waiting until I feel I was ready, and I'm just going to go ahead and go.
Now you got to jump in. Well, that's like all these cloaks all these coats and tabards and cloaks that I'm painting. Everyone says, "Well, just use speed paints." Why don't I want to learn to paint before I learn to use speed paints, right? So I'm trying to actually teach myself to do some glazing and some edge highlighting, so I can actually, even if I'm bad at it, I can at least say, I've got a little bit of that old-fashioned type painting skill.
Yeah.
And then if I go back later on, and because you can mix and match, you can use a speed paint or there's a bunch of them, dipping inks or I mean,
Yeah.
Scale 75's got one, Viejo's got one, and then you can actually you can add chai light and glaze over them
Yeah.
once
And
they're done.
I intend to do stuff with that with the Orca. What I've never done that before, but I also have access to 3 different paint. Well, technically 2 different paints and an ink.
Right.
Have,
oh yeah, you got to use those inks, man. Those are.
Oh, yeah,
I've only got one of. I've got some of the Daler and Rowney, regular style like ink that like calligraphers use. But
Yeah.
I got one bottle of ink from AK
Let's see
Interactive, and it is like for models, but I use it a lot to darken down my other paints. I'll take a little tiny squirt of.
Bo.
Yeah, hold on. Oh yeah, I'm not showing my desk because my desk looks like a bomb went off on it.
Well, mine used to. I cleaned it so I could actually do what it does, how it looks now. So it looks a lot better than it did, actually.
No, I'm ashamed of how my desk looks right now. I think if people saw the state of my desk, they would like call the police for hoarders or something like that.
Yeah. Well, I can't really be ashamed of the state of my shed or my anything right now because I have a 100 square foot shed and I do work for leather, cardboard. I don't have the tools here, but I also know and have done woodworking, metalworking. I have never done stoneworking, but it doesn't really interest me either, admittedly. I mean, like someone said, "Oh, you're a jack of all trades." It's like, no, not everything interests me. I'm a jack of many trades.
There you go. Well, man, you got to have a hobby. You got to have interest. I think it's healthy, as long as they're not overwhelming. I tend to get be one of those guys that goes all in and then gets bored. And
Yeah,
really
I have a bad habit of doing that myself.
I don't want to go on with my gaming. I mean, I really want to, and I've been fortunate enough to actually played some games in the last 8 months. Coming up on a year, I guess. Because I was out of the gaming hobby for like 20 years. And
about a decade myself.
During COVID, really. I said, I want to start because all the gyms were closed and everything, all the other things I liked were closed. And I may as well do something while I'm not doing anything.
Yeah.
So I bought a Games Workshop Start Collecting box on Amazon back when they were still expensive then, but they were much less expensive than they are now.
Yeah.
And then after that, I said, well, I've got these minis. I don't want to play a war game. What am I going to do with them? Well, what if I use them for a role-playing game? And then you get caught up in all this thing about, well, no, you can't use minis in your RPGs because you got to do theater of the mind and it breaks immersion and it slows the game down. And then there's this feud about what's really role-playing.
Oh, if you want to see the orc, because I bought an orc war boss.
Oh, yeah. Is it one of the newer ones or is it an older one? Because they're like, aren't there a lot of them?
I think it's a newer one, given the fact it was unpacked. But I checked online. I went on eBay and got it, and it was still cheaper on eBay than it would have been for me to buy it from Games Workshop.
Sometimes there. No, that's great. I think because it's a bigger model. I think they're on like a 40 millimeter or 50 millimeter base. The war bosses are. So that gives you.
Sorry.
It gives you a lot of what's the word I'm looking for? There's a lot of detail, but there's also like a lot of big flat areas.
Yeah.
So you can really work on painting. And the cool thing about orcs is you can paint the skin like a myriad of colors. You can do green, you can do yellow, you can do blue, you can do brown. You can really work on pushing contrast and your recessed shading and edge highlighting. I mean, that's just, I think for a project mini, for a weekend or even for a week, right? You're going to spend, say, I don't know, 6 hours. You're going to spend 6 hours on this mini. I think it's great. I've done a few smaller orcs. They were actually Mantic orcs.
Oh yeah.
That I picked up. I picked up on eBay because I sometimes I make, what's it called? Retail therapy.
I'm not entirely sure what that is.
Impulse buys.
Ah.
It's kind of like people that eat because they feel depressed or because they feel anxious. Sometimes I get on eBay and buy something because you get that dopamine hit when you buy something.
See, I don't get the dopamine hit when I buy it. I get the dopamine hit when I open the box.
Okay.
But
So
I'm very careful about, because I have a limited funds as being on Social Security. Because
well, I honestly, I'll tell you, I had more money during COVID because I was picking up a lot of overtime as a nurse.
Oh yeah.
And since that overtime dried up, I have not made any purchases because like that discretionary income stopped. And it was kind of like I woke up from a fever dream. Like, oh crap. I didn't do anything stupid. I didn't spend like thousands of dollars, but I spent hundreds of dollars.
Yeah.
And but now to the point, like I would during the stream, I said I was serious when I said if something happened and I couldn't make any more purchases, I could paint my pile of shame for the next year and do these kinds of videos or videos on my channel, paint and chill, paint and talk about gaming. I like those Robotech videos though. They forgot how much I missed Palladium. I don't think I could get back into it right now because I don't have the interest in another system. But we used to play Ninjas and Super Spies mixed with After the Bomb and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, like a lot.
Oh yeah.
A lot. We played that when I was in high school, probably every week for like 2 years. And I would get back. If I had to change game systems for whatever reason, and I was looking to pick up something new, I would not hesitate to pick up Palladium because it's also got that universal feel to it. You can do big or small. You can do fantasy, sci-fi, modern.
Yeah.
And I don't want to play a game I don't want to buy books that don't do a lot. They're not flexible. D20 is not flexible. So how long have you played Palladium then?
I have played Palladium my entire let's see here. Sorry, I'm a little half distracted trying to make sure a foot sits like it's supposed to. Let's see, I played probably for about a decade, and then for a decade I haven't played, but I still had the books and occasionally read through them.
Was it your first RPG system?
Yes, it was.
Oh, you're so blessed. You have no idea how blessed that you're not of those D&D SRD D20 blinders on. It's most folks who start in a SRD game and then can't get out of it. They start in D&D, whether it was 3.5 or even 2E AD&D, and just can't bust out of it. But if you start another system, then you don't have that millstone hanging around your neck. You can go and play anything.
Yeah.
You're not buying.
Someone tried to argue with me about that, not online, a little while ago, when I said that was my first system, and they were like, "No, you played D&D." Like,
you don't have any reason to lie to me.
No, it was 2 sessions, not even back to back, more than a month apart. That doesn't count. I did not even get the basic concept of what the system was. So that doesn't count as playing. That counts as putting my toe in the water.
Right. But if the first books that you bought and read and immersed yourself in were Palladium, I think that's a huge, huge blessing. And I wish, and when I go to any local games, quote unquote, game store, and they sell every, in the States, right, in the U.S., any game store, they sell three games. They sell D&D, they sell Magic the Gathering, and they sell Warhammer 40K.
Mine didn't even sell Warhammer. It was just Palladium. I mean, Palladium, D&D, and Magic.
Right.
And even
And
then,
so-
they end up closing down because one of the owners, excuse me, according to the owner I would trust anyway, the other owner wasn't paying bills properly, and they ended up losing the place.
All right.
So there hasn't been a shop since.
I've got quite a few stores around here, but if I want to if I want to buy something, an RPG, that's really not WotC based, I pretty much have to buy online. And if I want to get models that are not 40K, I pretty much have to go to a real model store, not a game store. If I go to, there are a couple model stores in the valley where if I want to get like something like a Tamiya model, like a Gundam, and use it in my game, like something Bandai, something Tamiya, something from Trumpeter, or any of those other model companies. Yeah, I've got to go to a real hobby shop, and those are
given where I am. Sorry.
Those are getting rare, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, well, given where I am, I didn't have a choice. I wanted to get that Gundam for my quote-unquote challenge, and it's like, well, my only real option is to go online. So my first thought was eBay.
I've bought Gundam online. I've bought model kits online. If the price is right, I've got to be.
Yeah,
I want to be loyal to a company, but I can't afford to be so loyal that I take food out of my mouth.
Yeah. Do you have easy access to eBay? Like
Oh,
right
yeah.
now?
Yeah,
Because
eBay
if
and
you
Amazon.
look,
What's that?
I said, do you have access right this second?
No, not when I'm on my phone.
Okay, too
I mean, I
bad.
can go get the
Because
laptop, but it's in the other room. Why is there something for sale you can't that you're
Oh
looking
no.
at?
I wanted to say if you wanted to look at the Orc War Boss I bought, it would be the Beast Boss, and you can just
Beast
look it up and
Boss.
see it.
Yeah, I'll take a look at that later on.
I like that one. They had three different like simple bosses for sale. That was the only one that interested me. The model I really, really wanted is like $60, like almost $70 actually. And it's like, yeah,
Well, I said if
I'm
you're
already.
you said you want to play the game. If you want to play the game
Yes, I
at home or with your buddies or at like local venues that aren't stores, orc stuff is so easy to kit bash or craft your own. I mean, there was a video.
Oh, yeah, it was, but sorry, but there was a eBay Miniature Rescues.
Yeah.
He literally in one of his videos says word for word, any kit is an orc kit.
Not just any kit, but any company's kit. There was a video really recent. Well, there was a video I really liked where a guy took he took the the green army men.
Yeah.
He took a bag of their cheap army men artillery pieces.
Oh yeah.
And made orc mega guns, I think they're called.
That totally
good.
makes sense for everything I know.
They looked real. I mean, that's what I mean is, if you're playing the basement battle report or the garage or back shed or wherever you play with your friends, and if you're an orc player, and if you're not making your kits out of you go to the thrift store and you find I don't know, a toy truck, and you get out the glue gun and the sandpaper and your hobby snips and every other, all your bits and greebles and stuff that you found of old printers and all the junk and make those into your orc trucks. Can you even say you're an orc player if you're not doing that? I don't think so.
I've already looked at real orc models, and I've already started that one. I got some orcs that, like I said before, I'm printing for my nephew.
Sure.
It's like if I'm going to start an orc army, I'm already starting with these prints because even they don't have the right tusk to be 40K orcs, but as long as I'm not playing tournament, that's not going to matter.
Exactly. As long as you're not playing at stores that really care about stuff like that. What I'm saying, yeah.
Yeah.
If you're especially orcs, there are only two problems I have with orc players.
See if I could show up the one I like the best.
You can't go around screaming "Wow!" every time you make a move in the game because that's rude. And is that your war boss? No.
No, but this he hasn't arrived yet. This is my favorite of the ones I printed. Can
Oh,
you guess why I like it so much?
pickle hub. I don't know. I can't see all the details.
I'm trying to show off the specific detail I like the most. The helmet.
That's why I said the pickle hob, whatever those things are called.
Oh yeah. I forgot what it is, but I love that helmet. That makes him, as far as I'm concerned, the most awesome of them.
Yeah, absolutely, man. You got it. Just, I need some more. I need some more space critters. I've got, again. I play a regular RPG game, and I don't use minis in it yet. I would not. I'm not against it like some guys are, because the way I look at it, when you're playing an RPG with your friends, it's whatever you and your friends agree with. I don't need some influencer on eBay, not eBay, on YouTube doesn't get to tell me how to play my game on Friday night.
Yeah, well, I like minis. Well, I used to use proxies to a degree too, and
Sure.
for proxies for grids even, because I got into an argument that, admittedly, I've said more than once, I did not have the balls when I first started DMing to actually say no. But I got in an argument more than once. Well, I wouldn't be standing there at the beginning of battle. Yeah, but based on the description of things, you weren't.
That's what minis are
So
good
it's
for.
like, exactly. And
Keep the honest.
and then I started collecting. My first minis were a couple of Karns I 3D printed. I just based them in silver since they're Karn from Magic the Gathering. He's
Right.
I don't know if you know who that is, but he's a living construct, so silver's just
Okay.
fine.
Like a golem?
But yeah, actually, I think he is supposed to be a golem, but by Magic the Gathering standards, he gained sentience and gained a spark. Sparks allow you to jump realms without being destroyed.
Okay.
Like trying to jump realms kills you otherwise.
Right.
But I painted those, and then it's like, oh, that was kind of fun. I mean, it was real simple. Obviously, I just painted it silver. So I painted another miniature that actually I didn't have any paints for it, so I got a wild hair up my ass and bought some paint, some Army Speed paint. Like, I seen an advertisement on YouTube. I tend to be an impulse buyer if it's something I'm interested in, but I gotta be very careful. That's why the reason why I don't roam certain things. That's why I said earlier I have to be careful with my funds.
Sure.
I didn't say I wasn't an impulse buyer because I kind of am. But then I actually painted like, and I instantly fell in love with the process of painting minis. And now that I have for processing of making of building them, I like building minis too.
Right.
So that's why I purposely bought an Orc War Boss that wasn't pre-assembled because I really wanted to assemble him. I'm pretty sure I could have gotten an older one and stripped him if I really wanted to, but I like the idea of assembling my home.
Yeah, I don't know. That's the thing. I don't 3D print yet. I've looked at 3D printers, and it's got that Moore's law where you wait 6 months and the prices go down. You wait 6 months, the prices go down. And there's two things holding it back right now is ventilation. I don't really have a place to set up a 3D printer where I can assure that it's ventilated yet. And two, when I build a plastic mini, there's a satisfaction in swapping heads, swapping arms, cutting things off, gluing things on, because it's that polystyrene plastic.
Oh, yeah.
And I would not have. I don't know if I'd have that same satisfaction using super glue and resin.
Yeah.
Maybe I would. I don't know. Maybe.
Well, as my understanding goes for others online, it is, unless you're like 100%, I gotta have it. I have to have the weld. The feeling is just about the same. I personally super glued my minis together, and other than only a few of them, it was up till I got to so I could practice assembling them. Other than I wish it was more permanent, I still felt the same satisfaction of assembly afterwards. If anything, I kind of feel Like I like it just a little bit better because the super glue's faster. You don't have to hold everything for 5 freaking minutes.
That's true. That's true, Pedro. You're not wrong. Especially depending on how clean your cuts are. If you're trying to make an approximation, you really have to hold it together.
Something I do suggest, very much so, is some Gorilla. Well, not just Gorilla, but let's see if you can see it. Well, it doesn't matter. Gel super glue. Because I took a toothpick and did that for the models I put together. Yeah. And it allowed me to get a nice thin layer that worked just fine. In fact, I bought a thing of toothpicks just for putting gel super glue on. It's my favorite glue because I can use toothpicks for that.
Yeah. One more everyday item to add to my crafting supplies. I actually have a one of those El Cheapo Home Depot orange toolboxes, what they call home boxes or whatever. They're like $6 or $7. That I've got one of those that I use just for the other hobbying accoutrement, wire cutter, super glue, floral wire, parchment paper.
I got 3 I don't know what the lids are for them, but 3 tubs. No, just 2 tubs full of crap. Shelf beneath my desk just full of crap. I mean, when I say crap, I don't mean garbage. I mean crap as in it's all crafting supplies.
All crafting supplies.
It's another thing I do is jewelry.
Oh,
I don't do that as often, cool. But
I've got some jewelry that actually need repaired, but finding someone that can actually do it is.
I haven't started soldering jewelry yet. I've
got a Navajo belt, a real Navajo belt buckle.
Yeah.
And the back pin where the prong that holds the belt buckle onto the belt.
Yeah.
Has peeled off where it was soldered on the first time. I need to get it soldered back on again. And barring, driving down to some place like Silver City, New Mexico, and finding some Navajo silversmith to solder it back on for me. I haven't been able to wear this belt buckle in years.
Yeah, I would have the basic knowledge, but I wouldn't trust it long term.
Yeah, silver soldering.
I haven't done it yet.
It's high temp soldering.
Yeah, exactly. And I study things before I do them, so I have the basics of soldering. I know what I would need to do, but I have yet to actually need those skills. Right. Simply because in this shed I don't have the supplies to do the kind of soldering I would like to do, and B, this shed is wood, so flammable projects is something I have to be careful with.
Yeah. I can solder electronics pretty well. I used to do that for a job. I mean, I actually got paid to solder, especially copper wire and stuff like that. But to solder, and I've done some high temp solder like HVAC style, but I've never soldered jewelry. Or brazing. You'd have to really braze it more than solder it. You'd have to use some heavy silver solder and like a propane torch.
Oh yeah, I have some jewelry solder around here.
And the odds of me actually pulling something like that off without ruining what amounts to an irreplaceable piece of jewelry.
Yeah.
If
you don't mind being alone for a minute or two, I got to hit the bathroom real quick.
Oh well, if you got to go, you got to go. If you're gonna come back, then I'll just talk shit about you while you're gone.
Oh, that's perfectly fine. I don't talk about shit about people I don't know, but when I know you, I will talk about shit about you.
I was just saying because it's your stream.
Oh yeah, well that makes it even better.
For the benefit of you, for the benefit of our 3 viewers.
Yeah.
So I decided on green for the pants. Let's get a little light on it. Makes them kind of rainbow colored, but It's fine. We're learning. I'll probably do some gold for the braid across his chest if I can almost not dry brush, edge highlight that on. And then more yellow for that stupid belt. Belt and yellow is freaking hard. Probably should have painted it bone or tan or white first and then did yellow over it instead of the gray and white that is the edge highlight. And let me just say, this golden so flat yellow, it's way too. It's like safety orange, almost neon. It's called bismuth vanadate yellow. Way too bright, like bright yellow. Need something more subdued orange. No, subdued yellow, like a yellow brown. Let's try the contrast yellow. Let's see. Contrast Ayandan yellow. Maybe that'll go over, fill in some of the garbage cracks. Just making shit up as I go along here. Yeah. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not a mini painter. Just a guy with a table in his basement. Not even the finished part of the basement. Like the creepy back corner where people store their camping stuff. That corner of the basement. Not the nice part with lights and a couch. No. Can't have that. No windows. There's not even a window in this room. It's like the gimpy, creepy part. Anyway, check out my channel. Like, subscribe, and ring that bell for more content. So let's lay down a little bit of this contrast Ayandan yellow. And just see what happens. Can't do any worse. I can always paint over it. It's not really filling the gaps here. Put like 1.5 million layers up. So what kind of minis do you like to paint? Like fantasy, sci-fi, Cthulhu, modern, cyberpunk. Are there cyberpunk minis? Should be. Think of like Street Samurai. Yes, we do.
Oops.
We were just telling your audience that we need some real cyberpunk style minis. Not Shadowrun. I don't want magic. I don't want my Street Samurai that are ogres or oni. More like Robotech style. I need some like mecha pilots with samurai swords. I need some deckers with like cybernetics, but with like a black suits and sort of a what's that crap? The Matrix. I need some like Matrix dudes. Like the characters in the Matrix, guys with like Nehru collars and like sunglasses with like dual mini Uzis.
Well, maybe not quite like that, but I actually have in the book I'm making. So I mentioned, I don't know. I don't think I mentioned it while you were on, but I'm making a game book. I know I've mentioned, you should have heard about it by now. I'm pretty sure, but at any rate, one of the settings, once I get deep enough into making my books, will actually basically be cyberpunk because it's so few. The technology level is so high, they actually have nanites.
They have what?
Nanites.
Oh, nanites. Yeah, sure. Nanotechnology. Kick ass. I'm down with some nanotech. This is just one part of a world the size of Jupiter because it actually has 6 suns around it. So you're going with an ultra big game world.
Oh yeah. Have you ever played Skies of Arcadia?
I have not.
Oh, that is such a good game.
I don't know anything about it. But
Skies of Arcadia, It was a Dreamcast game originally.
Okay.
Then it came out on the GameCube later on as a basically a director's cut version, which was awesome because it had so much more content.
GameCube,
And
huh?
yeah, and it is currently available on Steam if you actually want to check it out at some point.
Oh, I was gonna say. I mean, if it was available for Switch, that'd be cool. I would do that. How much? Oh, wait, Sky. What's something of Arcadia? What of Arcadia?
Skies of Arcadia.
It's Arcadia. I could
If you
check
can
it.
get Skies of Arcadia Legends, that's the expanded version.
Expanded.
Though-
version. My kid.
I need to warn you, it's a bit of a spoiler. There is a mercenary. She is you'll know the mercenary when you find her because she's after the main character, Vice, hardcore, and she says it throughout the entire thing. Do not defeat her your first playthrough if you have Legends. She is so powerful be strong enough to defeat her that you are spoiled for the main boss battle, for the final boss battle.
Right. Now, I bought a laptop like about a year ago.
Yeah.
I needed it. I got it from Costco. It was an Asus. It was a fairly good deal, and had a lot of gaming capability compared to what I had before. And my middle boy has
And now the
managed
fun begins.
he filled that thing up with Steam games. Somehow he managed to fill that laptop, the memory up, and he has got a whole bunch of the Star Wars RPGs, and he's been really into No Man's Sky and maybe something else. Oh, the Harry Potter game and blah blah
And
blah.
those games quickly take up space. I found that out the hard way with some of my stuff.
Well, but the point is that I paid for the
Didn't
computer.
get to use it, yeah.
I get to use it for my Friday night RPG because my Friday night is on Discord.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I get to use it for. Once a week, I get to use it for about an hour and a half, 2 hours. Once a week. Otherwise, I love the kid, and he needs an outlet, and he's a really good kid. He gets good grades. He doesn't get in trouble. So
Sounds
I really
like you should
it can't be
you should
right.
set the sorry.
No, go ahead. I interrupted you.
I would say it sounds like you should start setting parental effects on that laptop, or parental settings on that laptop, and then buy yourself another one.
Yeah, but like you said earlier, now is not the time to spend money.
That is true. It's like, yeah, I did buy a Gundam for the challenge I set forth, but that was only because I managed to get it for $25.
Yeah,
Of course, part of the reason I got it for so cheap is because the instructions are in Japanese.
Oh, that's fine. You can find English instructions online.
Exactly. I wasn't worried about that. That's perfectly fine.
And even if you don't, you pull out all your Gundam kits and all your bits, and you say, "Let's see what we can make."
Yeah, given the fact that this is supposed to be a weird World War II challenge, it's not like it has to be exactly like the.
Oh,
Not
what
supposed to be.
is the Weird World? Is that for next month?
No, I'm waiting until I get a group of at least 3. I'd prefer to actually have a larger group than that.
If you
And
want to do a
then
Weird
I will
World
start
War
the
II
challenge.
challenge, you got to get Brian from Weird World War II on that. He would jump
Yes,
at that.
I do want him as part of this. Because
Just say, dude, that's how he talks. Dude, I'm going to do a Weird World War II challenge, and I'm challenging you, dude.
yeah, I'll certainly try to remember that. I already have alcohol. The alcohol, since I don't drink very often, is already making.
It was the Nazi version of the half track, deuce and a half, right? It was like a half track,
Yeah.
the Nazi version of half track. There was a variant that they made that has like a cannon or a howitzer like mounted onto the hood of that thing.
Nice.
And it was a cheap Tamiya kit. It was one of those like $12 kits,
Oh yeah.
But it would make a really fun Weird World War II conversion. Cut the barrel off, put some Tesla coils on it, put a Monster 2 riding shotgun on it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The kit I bought for the challenge, like I was just gonna buy one that had a shield because I seen it for $18. That one was an open box, but the individual packages were still sealed.
Right.
So I was like, okay, that one's buyable. Less than an hour later, I decided to go check again.
So
I'm thinking, no. Here's this is real funny. I'm thinking, maybe I'll just go ahead and buy it. Maybe I won't make till next month because it might not be there. And then I see another model for $37. I look at it and go, I recognize that one. This particular one has basically a long staff with a laser trident head. And its arms have basically little dragon heads that come out, or not come out, but fold out over the hands. And basically they breathe fire and they're used to rip the opponent apart basically with your bare hands. At least barehanded for a Gundam. It's like, holy crap, that is the perfect Gundam for a Nazi Weird World War II challenge.
Yeah.
So I go straight into it, getting ready to purchase it. It's like, or best offer. Well, thanks to I actually thank Shadow for this because I wouldn't have probably thought of it if he hadn't suggested it. Never be afraid to make an offer. I'm like, $37. I'd like to get it for $25. I'll offer you $25 for it. Less than 2 hours later, offer accepted.
Nice.
And this was the middle of the night.
Right.
And I'm getting it for free shipping. So
nice. We're looking forward to seeing that then. That's going to make for a fun challenge video.
Yeah. But once I get enough, sorry.
Do you have any access to any water slides or decals? I bet that you can get some really cheap for some Nazi markings.
Yeah. I'll probably have to look, but no, I don't have any.
You
I
get
was
some,
thinking about doing it free, but if I get decals, it's probably a better idea.
Yeah.
I've never done anything like that, so I wouldn't know where to look, admittedly.
Well, it's a learning experience, and I love water slides.
That is true.
Water slides are great because they are actually pretty easy to use, and they just make everything. They take it to that next level. To me, I can't freehand.
Actually, let's go ahead and take my cell phone, and since I'm using my computer, I will mute for a second and ask eBay. Ask Amazon about water slide decals.
Oh, ask eBay too.
Ask eBay too. Well, maybe just start in eBay. I found all kinds of cool stuff on eBay, so we'll start.
Do find Google World War II water slides. But you can get some pretty cheap because people build models, but they don't use the water slides.
Okay, let's see what we got. America, Canada.
Make it Canadian. That'd be fun.
Yeah. Well, I really, you were the one that suggested it, and I really love it. I want to go Luftwaffe.
Okay. Oh yeah, Luftwaffe. That I said I would paint it. There's like a Messerschmitt where it would be gray and yellow.
Yeah.
Those Messerschmitt airplanes. For some reason, their cowling, their engine cowling, was always painted yellow, and there was some kind of weird reason for it. I don't know, but I think it would look really. And plus, since Gundam typically they do fly, right?
Yeah. That's part of the reason why I loved your suggestion right off the bat. So I'm definitely going Luftwaffe with this.
All right. 3 hours you've had the stream going, Duder.
Hey, I got to get off in about a half an hour because I'll be going over to Bruce's stream.
I'm gonna have to go.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to go cook supper for the kids. That's
here soon. Yeah.
It's 6 o'clock here.
Yeah.
And
okay, yeah. So
the law says I've got to feed him. The law says I've got to feed him at least twice a day. Stupid law. Yeah, I'd look up like Messerschmitt 109s, how they were painted, and I said they had these. I think they were squadron markings that were red, like maybe like a heart or a cat.
Yeah. I do know I'm going to resist using the Red Baron as my basis.
Right.
I kind of like the Red Baron, but I think he's kind of overused in that aspect.
And he's World War One, not World War II.
Oh, he is? Oh yeah,
Yeah.
you're right. The alcohol's already getting to me.
Yeah.
I'm making excuses if you can't tell.
All things in moderation.
Oh, I am. It's only twisted tea. It's 5% alcohol.
It's
just the fact
I'm
don't
not your mom.
drink.
I'm not judging.
Oh yeah, it's just the fact that I don't drink to the point that even that 5% gets me pretty buzzed pretty quick. So I'm taking sips.
I understand. Yeah, alcohol and social media is a bad combination. I was on a stream with Brian the other day, and his wife and one of her friends like barged into the stream, and they were both 3 sheets to the wind. And Brian had to get off the stream and go put him to bed. It was awesome. He's like, these two, they've got us. It's like bacon and eggs, stat. They need protein and a nap.
Yeah. That's a good one.
What, bacon and eggs?
Oh yeah, but no, sorry.
Oh,
I was listening. But I was talking out loud on the same hand because I just found a really good set of decals.
Yeah, I bet you can get them pretty cheap too.
Yeah, what just cost on that one is shipping and handling because it's coming from Hungary. So I got
from where?
Hungary.
Oh
Hungary.
Yeah, no, that dog doesn't hunt. You can print them yourself before you need to do that. You can buy water slide paper and just go looking for them. If you're gonna go,
well, I got a printer. I just gotta get ink for it.
Yeah, well, that's the story of my life. HP will sell you a printer for $100, but if you wanted ink, that's another $100.
Yeah. Well, around here I can buy a cheap printer with ink.
Yeah, I know, but when you want to replace the ink, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's what I'm. Yeah, that's why I'm tempted on just buying a new printer and throwing this one out. I got this.
Good.
I got this one from a thrift store for practically free, so I can't say anything. It's just we didn't know. I didn't know if it had ink when I got it. So
well, the next time I buy a printer, I'm going to buy just a black and white printer. You get like a Brother black and white laser jet, and yeah, maybe it costs $200, but you will never have to buy ink for it, ever.
Huh.
Because they do thousands of pages. And since 99% of what I do is black and white. And those HE printers, man, it's criminal. Oh, you bought a scanner printer combination? Oh, it's out of ink? Okay, you can't scan. You bought a printer and you only want to print in black and white and you're out of cyan ink? Oh, sorry, I can't print because it's out of cyan ink. I know you only want to print in black and white, but and then they put chips in the printing cartridges now so you can't refill them anymore. It's a racket. And I mean racket in the most literal sense. It's a criminal enterprise. It's like the mafia.
Yeah.
So instead, I buy a Brother or equivalent, just black and white printer, just black and white. No color, no shenanigans, no bullshit. Because I'm mostly printing game stuff anyway, for crying out loud.
Yeah. I have multiple uses for a printer when it comes up, but till then I don't, so I haven't actually had to worry about it.
It
looks like eBay's my best option because Amazon does not have anything like that. Not like what eBay has anyway.
You can try Etsy too. It might be a little more expensive, but because it's Etsy. But
yeah,
I mean, that would definitely be my third or fourth choice, not my first or even second. But you could also check the model website, the model places that sell models, like HobbyLink. HobbyLink might have them at a fair price.
Yeah,
don't get gigged on shipping.
Yeah, well, I got time. I just bought the Gundam because it popped up at while I had money and I wasn't going to pass up the
Yeah,
opportunity.
I'm saying, yeah, just
look like the
that's
perfect.
it's always a
Gundam for
patient
that.
scheme, brother. Always a patient scheme.
But for the decals, that can just wait.
Yeah. You wait until the model's almost done.
Exactly.
You wait until it's painted, and wait until it's assembled and painted, and then when it's assembled and painted, then you can say, you know, I'm gonna put some decals on it, some water slides, and I'm gonna clear coat it. And even if you use a rattle can clear coat, you know, that you got it like Lowe's or whatever for $5 when you're done. When you're done.
I found a Krylon matte art finish, and it will make everything but metallics matte, even inks. So it all looks like you painted it, like it all looks like it put together, and it looks really nice, and it does work against scratches. I tested that.
There you go. See, and then when you got the water slides on, and you want to bury the water slides so they look like they're painted and not, you know, stickers. You bury them under two thin coats of clear coat, and then you submit it for the challenge. Then you win. Then you get the clicks. Then you get the subscribers. Then you make the money.
Yep. Well, I'm not doing a prize challenge. This is a see what everyone comes up with. I mean, I am kind of tempted on finding an outside judge because there's a really neat Gundam model that I could put up as a prize, but given the fact that I would want to keep it, it would have to be an outside judge. I couldn't judge. Plus, I do want to do the Nazi thing myself, which means I couldn't just that alone makes I couldn't be a judge. But
no, but you know,
I have time.
Judge.
What?
You get like, oh no, if you could get, yeah, there are lots of guys that could judge, or you could put a poll in your community section of your channel, leave it up for a week,
True.
Get some votes, whatever. There's lots of things that you could do that are, you know, fair.
Yeah, that is true. The only problem with me offering a prize is that limits it to everyone, to only people in America, because there's no way I can afford to ship it overseas.
Oh no, you can't ship that thing even to Canada right now. Shipping is exorbitant.
Yeah. So.
Well, this mini is actually.
I got some time.
This guy is actually coming along.
Yeah. So like I said, I'm going to be patient, and I'm going to wait till I have since I got so many people who are already showing interest, I'm going to wait till I get a decent sized group, and then I'm going to start like a year-long thing. Someone's got a year. Part of the year is to give people time to assemble. But I myself could sit down, assemble, and have it painted easily within a month.
I think 2 months is fair. I wouldn't go longer than that. The people might forget about it. Get distracted. Say, look, we're going to do. Just announce it early. Announce it now. Just as an example. Hey, for the month of November, we're going to be doing this challenge. Get your model kits ready.
Yeah.
And then you know you've given enough time to find the kit that they want to do. You know, prep it. If they want to do any kit bashing or scratch building, then they could easily do scratch building and then the assembly.
Well, part of it I have to coordinate because I want each person to have a different country.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a horse of a different color.
Yeah. The model of Gundam is I chose mine because of timing and it looks good, but the model is technically irrelevant. The size, pre-built, all that will be irrelevant. It's just the country you pick. And if we get enough people, I doubt, but if we get enough people, there will have to be crossovers where at that point I suggest somebody picks a different branch of the military.
No, but I can see. Imagine if you did something like, let's hear me out. Say I took a Gundam and then I wanted to do a country that was like poorly represented in World War II, Mexico. Just as an example, I want to build like a Mexico Gundam, and then I convert it to steampunk. You know, put some big 40K style smokestacks coming out of the back of it, big internal combustion engine, and just go to town.
The only rule I would have is you got to pick a different country, or if we have too many people, you start picking different branches of each different branch of the military from each country. That would be the only rule I have up. I thought about that. It's like, do I want people to be able to kit bash?
Absolutely.
Yes, I do, actually. Even if it ends up becoming a real contest where a prize is given, I think, in which case kit bashing pretty much rules me out because I don't have the ability to. But
Sure,
I don't want to say,
kit
no, you
bash
can't.
when you can scratch build.
True.
Yeah,
It's just, I don't have too much in the way of supplies to do that. I mean, I suppose
Do you have
have
garbage?
What?
Do you have garbage?
Yeah, that is true.
Plastic bottles, aluminum cans.
Well, I'd have to think about it first. 'Cause
You've got super glue. I saw it.
Oh yeah, I got super glue. It's along the lines of I don't know what size the Gundam is. It's like one. I think it's like 1/170th, 177th.
No, we're not even worried about scale. One thing I'm worried about, like you said, is just making it look rule of cool.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, I was referring to the fact of for me. It's like I can't really think about what I want to put on it, how I might add to it until I know its size.
Yeah.
Then I can start thinking of what I think might look cool on it. And since I don't know what 1/177th scale is, I'll have to get it here and at least have it partially assembled to see what I'm looking at.
That only matters if you're comparing it to other projects. If you're just doing your guy.
Oh no! What I mean is, what I'm referring to is I won't be able to think of how I want to alter it until I know how big it is, so I can see what I might be able to do.
Or you could just go freaking hog wild like Final Fantasy style. I mean, how many figures in Final Fantasy had a gun or a sword that was actually in scale to them, right? Got a big, like 6-foot long sword like that wide, and just go to town, man.
Yeah.
And then not only that, but you said it yourself, it's supposed to be weird.
Yeah.
Make that weird, man. Whatever happens, happens. I'm a fan. And it's not going to cost you anything except your time. You already paid for the kit.
Yeah.
And so let's just say, for example, you invest another $7 in a set of water slides. Maybe 10 with shipping. Just throwing it out there. And then everything else, is plastic from shampoo bottles and the little plunger lids from a bottle of lotion, and just start saving that stuff,
Yeah, that is true.
And then it all goes on there. And the thing about that kind of garbage building, a coat of paint ties all that stuff together. It doesn't look right because it's all different colors and all different shapes, and that thing looks weird over there. That greebly, that gear that you found in an old CD. You got the old CD player that doesn't work anymore. You took it apart, you pulled the gears out of it, you glued it all over the place. But then you come with a can of gray primer, and now everything looks like it belongs.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the Zenithal technique.
I'm too. But
so I actually do a black, solid black first, and then a overspray of white. You can't see the detail, but you should be able to see the shading just fine.
Yeah, well, I said when that's when you see all the springs and wires and crap you glued on, it starts to look like it really belongs.
This is how I do it, my minis.
Yeah, mine are pretty similar. I usually do a gray Zenithal and then a white dry brush. I don't know if I have any right now that are at that stage. Most of mine are all at least.
I've been wanting to try that gray Zenithal with the dry brush for highlights, but I have to be fixed income. I have to be careful how much.
Absolutely. I already had. I did have some gray primer that I had used. And I decided to actually use it.
Yeah. So I just buy simply 2 cans because that.
Oh no! Why airbrush for the primer?
I don't have primer. I don't have airbrush primers. All I have is the alcohol inks.
I bought a 3-pack on Amazon. It's the Badger, the Stynylrez, and it's not.
Yeah,
I don't.
I've been hearing a lot about that one.
It's pretty popular. I wouldn't say it's very good. I would say it's popular, but I bought it. It was over a year ago. I mean, well over a year ago. I bought it, and the gray especially just sat up there. I've got a little shelf right there with paints in it. It was just staring at me.
Yeah. Well, I'm absolutely in love.
I'm going to use it up.
Yeah. If you don't really like the one that you use, I think it's okay. I absolutely recommend you check out Behr Paint and Primer in the rattle can.
Is it going too thick?
What?
Do you lose any detail when you use it?
No, I suck at using spray cans. I know for a fact I layer it on too thick because I'm still learning how to properly use it. I have yet to lose any detail despite that issue that I have.
Nice. That's what I'm asking about.
It dries completely flat. I use matte, and they have one that's called flat, but it no matter how so far anyway, no matter how much I bunch on, I haven't purposely bunched on it too much. It's just the fact that I still need to learn how to properly layer it as I'm spraying. So it always ends up laying around too thick right now. But I have yet to lose detail.
It's good.
I wish my camera showed detail because I could show my stag right now, and
right.
His fur just still stands out.
It's good. That's my biggest concern. The other advantage, the real advantage to using an airbrush over a rattle can is not even the paint. Most of the time, it's the advantage of not being dependent on the weather. If it's it's too cold here to paint outside about 6 months out of the year, so I don't have to worry about it.
I didn't know that was a problem. I never when I've sprayed out in the middle of winter, I never had that kind of problem.
It can cause some paints to gum up. What a lot of people do is they keep their paints inside the house, shake, run outside, paint, run back inside, shake. The cold can really affect. It can. I'm not saying it does all the time. Can really affect the results of outdoor priming and painting with rattle cans.
Yeah.
I know that Shadow has talked about it. It's actually warmer there than it is here even. And I know that he said problems with the wintertime. But I think that the one big advantage of using an airbrush is I can set it up. I can prime. I can make the paint as thick or as thin as I want. I can knock out, I don't know what, 8 or 10 minis. Take the brush apart, put it back in the little. I got a little Harbor Freight El Cheapo ultrasonic cleaner.
Yeah, I've been watching, as you know, eBay Miniature Rescue.
He's got a huge one. I've got one that's like a third that size.
Yeah, I actually want to see. It won't be in where I live now. It'll be later on. Plus, I want to be better at painting. But I actually want to see about. I'm trying to not be clever, but I am trying to find a way to maybe get off Social Security once and for all because it's a pain in the ass, honestly.
Right.
And I'm thinking maybe buying and selling miniatures on eBay because honestly, some of those miniatures, like I see some of them, it's like even I paint better than that, and people want outrageous prices for them. Yet miniatures that I say are better than mine are like, dude, you're offering practically nothing for that. So I feel like I might maybe not make a living overall, but maybe one source of income.
I think right now the money in most places is in 3D printing minis at home for other people. Like you can get licenses to print STLs for a really reasonable price.
I have them saved. I gotta look through my through my saved tabs or saved sites, and I have one $10 a month, and I can get all kinds of STLs and sell them legally. They won't.
Yeah, so you get a 3D printer set up, and then what you do is
I've got two.
you have people that want to buy minis at your local store or whatever. Hey, can I get this mini? You look at it, you say $10. Now, if it's like a bigger mini, like that Orc War Boss, like,
Yeah.
hey, can I get not a exact copy, but a proxy, an approximation, accounts as. And there are a lot of companies that do it. Like, hey, dude, I've got this Orc army I'm building, but I need a new commander. Can I get this Beast Snaga War Boss? Counts as? And you look at it and you're like, yeah, it's going to cost you like $1 worth of resin. And if you wait until the bill plate's loaded, you don't print just one. You load the bill plate up with all the other orders. You push print. You wash it. You cure it. You sell it for $10. You do that. Say you load up. You get maybe say you have like $100 every time you load a bill plate. You do that 3 or 4 times a day. You got no overhead. Got no overhead on that.
Well,
you're doing that in your shed.
Yeah. I'm already working on a deal with Shadow for some Traveler Ship minis. Of course, that one is working probably towards a non-cash deal, but that is because nobody's in chat, so I know Connell's not watching. One of my greatest joys in life is giving other people things. And something that Connell really wants is a Tarrasque painted by Shadow.
Right.
So I'm working a deal with Shadow where I get him a bunch of ships, Traveler ships, that are equal to the amount that he feels is worthwhile for him to buy a Tarrasque, paint it, and send it to Connell.
That's nice. That's super nice. That is super nice.
Yeah, and I feel like this isn't going to be like totally like, oh, well, I'm short sheeting myself type thing, simply because I'm pretty sure once people find out I have STLs for Traveler ships, I'm pretty sure Shadow won't be the only one who wants some.
No, if you have STLs for Traveler ships, and if they're, if people are using them on a tabletop, and depending on the scale of the ship.
I have 6.5 by 3.5 by 8 inches for my resin 3D printer, which is what I print them off of.
It's pretty big. Yeah. If you can, and I won't tell Uncle Sam that you're making money on the side.
Actually, I talked to Social Security about this when I first got Social Security. I talked to them, hey, I like doing art, and I occasionally sell at art fairs. $1,500 sale. Am I getting taxed on it? No. So Uncle Sam doesn't give a shit.
That's right.
It's only if I'm getting taxed. A non-taxable purchase, they don't care.
That's good.
Now, if I start making a living off of that, that's a different story.
That's what I'm saying. That was my point.
Oh, okay. Well, if I make a living off of that, I will actually gladly get off Social Security.
That's what it said.
And start paying my taxes. I know some people, taxes is theft. It's like, when used properly, taxes aren't so bad.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, they aren't used properly.
So they tell me.
What taxes are supposed to be is paying for the roads, paying for schooling, and crap like that. But I don't want to get political. Anyway, I actually found more of that exact model I purchased last night, because it was actually last night. And I'm glad I grabbed it when I did, because these other models, they're cheaper at $27 and $20, but their shippings are $20 and $22.
For the Gundam or the War Boss?
Yeah, for the Gundams.
The Gundam. Yeah. Well, yeah, you got to beat the bushes, and when you find a deal, jump on it.
Yeah.
All right. I think I am ready for a break.
Okay. Well, it's just about time for me to jump over to Bruce's stream anyway. So,
yeah.
And you said you got to make dinner.
Well, I got to. I mean, I said I got to feed those kids, and now it's 6:20.
Yep. Yeah, it's easy to get distracted when you're enjoying yourself.
It is. I'm finally making some progress. I've had all of these Inquisitor-esque minis on my desk for months, and what I found is that if I actually jump on a stream and talk, I actually get more done. And
Yeah.
this guy right now, once I get, there's a you know, if you watch guys paint minis, you know, there's a what they call the ass phase of a miniature,
Yeah.
where it's like, yeah, the colors are blocked in, but it looks like trash.
Oh
And
yeah,
this
yeah,
guy
yeah.
just started to come out of that. I think with a flesh wash and a little bit of lighter color on his, a little bit of color on his eye, and maybe a little bit of edge highlighting, and I can actually call this commissar. I'll be able to call him done too.
Yeah.
And I just want to get done with this little force. And then I've got some more. I picked up some of these plastics from Stargrave because they were super cheap compared to Games Workshop minis. And I've got about 6 or 8 more that I need to actually prime, paint, and do in the month of September?
Yeah, this is
that
September.
what it is? I don't know anymore. I worked last night. Give me a break.
Yeah. I've been kind of assembling, lining some of my miniatures, so I got a bunch
I've been
for painting,
definitely
so I can just
doing
grab what I want to.
what do they call it? That what are they? Batch painting.
Yeah. I don't tend to batch paint when it comes to the nice details, giving them all their colors, but I've been batch priming is a good way of putting it.
Yeah, I'm a big fan. All right. I need a little bit of brush soap. I actually painted all of these with a number 2 brush, even the fine details.
Yeah, I just actually ordered a bunch of paint. I ordered a bunch of brushes. I ordered a couple brushes specifically for my niece and nephews, so they're not using mine.
Yeah, my
but
kids
I still made sure they were detail brushes, not high detail, but I made sure they were still model brushes so they could at least try to make it look good.
Sure, absolutely. I'm big. Yeah, you gotta. And the kids need to have, like, they don't want to use the same brushes that I use to put glue on bases, right? They've at least got to have some kind of a point. And the technology, this trickled down to some of the synthetic brushes. Who I think wasn't like Sam Lenz, who always uses he buys his brushes literally on Wish.com and buys a big bag of synthetic, gold Taklon number 2 brushes for $10 for a bag of them, and then uses them until when they get a hook or they go out, he just throws them away and gets another one. And that guy's a Golden Demon winner.
Yeah, I'm not interested in winning awards. Plus, I'm more of a keep the brush as usable as possible.
Sure.
And I've already found that I need higher detail brushes because even with the detail brush I have, or the small detail brush I have, there are times it feels like I'm painting with a 5-foot wide brush.
Sure. And that's mostly the point. A bigger brush, where the belly of the brush is the part near the ferrule, right? The belly of the brush is what holds the paint. So if you have a big belly, but the brush still comes to a fine point, the brush can still be bigger as long as the point is fine. And that's what a lot of folks don't get. These newbies are like, oh, I want to paint with like a 5/0 brush. It doesn't hold any paint. It's got a nice point, but it doesn't hold. You're always like dipping it, going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth.
Oh, I knew that. I already know that kind of stuff about painting.
Yeah. I'm sure this is for your viewers.
Oh, okay. Yeah, true. Good point. But for me, it was, it doesn't help. Most of these brushes, no matter how I hold them, they automatically come and they flatten out as soon as they get wet. Really, really weird. But, the detail brushes for me will be most of the time will be for small little things that don't need much paint anyway. And
right.
Even though I'm impatient when it comes to a lot of things, including my painting, I know that as long as I'm patient with the small brushes, I'll still get good detail.
Sure, absolutely. So
it's a matter of I don't like waiting for the paint to dry, but I'm willing to take my time when laying down the paint. It's really weird. I'm a patient and yet impatient person. I love describing myself as a walking contradiction.
Yeah. Everybody has their own brand of ADD.
Yeah.
If that's your brand of ADD, I'm fine with it. It's easy
Yeah.
peasy. All right.
Well,
I'm gonna get off for a little
oh,
bit.
yeah.
I'm gonna cook. I'm gonna
Well,
find out what the kids
to encourage us. Do you well, for I know there's no one directly watching now, but if anyone watches the video later, you want to show your channel?
Yeah, Bo Paints Minis. You might be able to see it. Bo Paints Minis. I did have a stream and unboxing a couple days ago, and I will be back on to talk games, and hobbying while I paint this this small force of Sisters of Battle. And if you want to listen to me rant about the way things are in the gaming community and the problems and pitfalls that I've run into teaching myself how to paint, swing on by. Right now, we're teaching myself how to paint black armor.
Sounds like fun.
Yeah, thanks. So thanks for letting me on, and congratulations on the growth of your channel. I wish you all the best, and I will make sure I put a link to your channel in my next video.
All right. Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I don't think I try to put a link to all the guys that I associate with at least once.
Yes. Well, most everyone here should know who I am by now, but if you don't, I am the Crafted Gamer, as you at least know my name. If you're watching this video for the first time, I am covering Robotech currently. So like, share, and subscribe if you want more of that. Have a great night, everybody. Hope to see you next time.